So, on a list of completely unnatural situations that we're going to try and pretend aren't, where's this rank in your top 5?
Very high.
Very high.
Very high.
Yeah. So this is going to be the only bit that I want to do for them, and then we're going to forget about them, just because. So we met at a dinner party like a couple months ago, and then you came round one time. We had a chat at my office. I think you watched the TED Talk.
Yes, watch the TED Talk. Don't forget Super Bowl loss. Let's put that one in there.
Yeah.
We were together for your Super Bowl loss.
We were together for.
Got it.
Thanks for bringing that up. That's great. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I remember. Yeah. and so like here's well, given that the answer, one honest answer for why you're here is because I asked you. Like, why else are you here? Like, what would you love to get out of this? Forgetting them, because they're, like, honestly, this will be as good for them if it's a train wreck as if your life changes. So they're fine. What would be great for you over the next few days?
Just hearing more about the things we've talked about. You kind of know a little bit about my story. 21 years in the military, retired, moved out to Los Angeles, started training, then started corporate wellness and speaking, but still some things seeming choppy with my perspectives, with what I was told things were supposed to be and not fitting like they should, you know, trying to put squares in circles. It wasn't. And watching your TED Talk, I was like, I get it. It's all in here. And I just kept reading. I started reading the books, and I was just like, okay, and try not to be so much of a fan. You know, it was just like asking the questions, hey, you mind if we could sit? Mind if we could sit? So when this was, you said, hey, can you come? It was a no-brainer. You know, it was a no-brainer to see what, I have no expectations. It's just, you know, I'll vomit it, you give it to me.
It takes me off the hook. Really so, well, let's just start there. So at some point, at any point, we can go back, and if there's anything that you want to kind of go, actually, I'd love this to be on our sort of topic list. We can put it on. We will create a topic list, and we'll hit them often from odd angles. But just to give us some context. But so for a starter, what is it, either with the TED Talk or the books, like what is it that you heard, saw that kind of made you go, all right, there's something here? Like what?
The thoughts.
Right.
For so long, all my behaviors were shaped about patterns that everybody else projected upon me. So it really didn't matter what I thought. You know, I may have thought I wanted to do A, but because my behavior was how everybody else said I was supposed to act. I was supposed to be a professional athlete. I was supposed to take care of my family. I was supposed all these pressures, and that drove my behaviors, which then led me off track to never do any of those. And it was like, well, why didn't I just do what I thought? You know, and not even trusting my thoughts. You know, I believe I could do this, and somebody saying, no, you can't do that. And it's like, okay, well, you're right. And it took some time to learn, no, whether they said it or not doesn't make it any more true if I said it or not. You know, at least I can bet on myself and go. That's honestly what it was. And it's just trying to find more material that helps perpetuate those behaviors of trusting myself. You know, and I think you do that very well. At least in what I've seen so far, you get it to click where it becomes a no shit factor. Like, oh, okay, that passed. Now let's go on to the next and really dive in and focus. That's it. That was.
So where, at this point in your life and your career, like where do you find it obvious to trust yourself? Where do you struggle with it? Like,
I'll say pre-military. When I was serving, everything was laid out for me. And granted, I thought I was an independent thinker. I was still thinking in a box, and it was the box that they had prescribed for me. You know, you meet these performance requirements, then you get this promotion. So I still was searching in that box. It was getting out and not having the structure that made me realize, I don't know what the hell I think. You know, like, wait, I get to dictate now where I want to live. I get to think about what I want to do. I mean, this is the longest my hair has been in 40 years of life.
I was going to ask you to cut it, but we're fine.
In 40 years of life, this is the first time I've had a beard. This is, it's now like I'm 40 years old and just now getting to think for myself since I was 19 because everything was taught or given to me in the way I was supposed to think. You know, I'm supposed to look at this particular group of people as my enemies, and so I'm heroic and I'm defending, you know, the country against this particular people group. And now I'm just like, I get to think of this stuff myself, and it's difficult. It's new. I've only been out less than a year, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to actually just build my foundation post, you know, Uncle Sam.
No, I mean, it makes sense. It's I think it's why a lot of people just wind up coming home and re-upping. And I think it's also probably why a lot of people get out of prison and wind up going back to prison. It's like, you know, or leaving corporate life to start their own company, and then, I'm going to go back into corporate.
It's easier. Follow the structure, follow the guidelines, and corporations have proved themselves successful. The military has proved itself successful, so I could somewhat tie myself to that success if I just stay.
See, now here's where I think that could really actually work to your advantage. Like, I get, and this is kind of metaphoric, but like, so I get the journey on paper is from doing what you're told to finding your own way. But at another level, if we have this inner guidance, like we have this inner sense of direction, well, that's just the new general. That's like the new orders. It's just we're now following orders from inside us, from a deeper part of us. So in a way, the fact that you can kind of do what you're told, that's not the problem. It's just who you're listening to.
True.
Right? Like you're just going from, okay, my football coach is telling me what to do. You know, my superiors in the military are telling me what to do. My family's telling me what to do. You know, all of that to the deepest part of me is telling me what to do. My inner sense of direction is telling me what to do. And it is. I always think that like the nav system on your car, right? It's like, well, you know, I'm not going to follow orders from anyone, not even my nav system. Right? You know, at that point, it's like, who are you rebelling against? You know, your nav system is yours, and it is there to kind of guide you. And you can ignore it. Like, it doesn't care. Right? Maybe it does care a little, because it kind of...
It'll tell you, reroute you.
But exactly. Right? So, if you were... Now, does that fit? Like, when you think of areas where you feel like, I do trust myself.
I'll just say, the conditioning of always being an athlete from so young, I've always had a voice. And everything about, you know, team sports, so this is always say someone is going to be there to tell you what it is that you need to do. You'll always have a coach. And I think just years and years of that conditioning is what's making it harder for me to trust myself and just see myself as a coach now. I think that's the part that I'm hung up on. It's like, I get there are some things in me that are good and I can direct myself on, but when did I become the coach? You know, when did I stop being a player and become the coach? It's my,
So, okay, let me see if this makes sense visually. As a different way. So, that's you.
That's me?
That's you.
Okay, wow.
Here, I'll give you the beard. Now do you recognize it?
There it is, I'm there.
So there's the you that you made up in your head, right? You know, Rob the athlete, Rob the soldier, Rob the speaker, Rob the boyfriend, you know, there's that guy, right? Now, there's also, and I don't know how to draw this, I'm going to draw it as a heart, but because it's like the heart of you, not necessarily because it's all loving in that, but just there's a deeper part of you that is, and if any of the words I use don't work, we'll replace them with other words, but it's like your true self. It's like the you that would be there if you'd been brought up in my family instead of yours.
Got it.
Like you could have been brought up in my family, you would still be you at some level. And if I was brought up in your family, I would still be me at some level.
Yeah.
At that level, that's closer. I don't know if that's really our true selves, but it's like
The closest representation of it, at least. Okay.
So here's the difference. To try and turn this me into Coach me, right? Like into Coach Rob. That's not going to work, because this is already the world of everything you've been taught, everything you've been told, everything you've thought up till now. Like that's the conditioned Rob, right? That's Rob as he's been trained to be,
Yeah.
to think of himself. This is the bit that can coach you. And this is actually the bit that, in my mind, whether you'd use the word coach, like, and tell me if this is bullshit, because I don't mean it to be, but maybe in your mind it would be. This is the reason you're still alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? There's something in you that kind of just knew no, yes, no, yes, no. Right?
Yep.
Well, that's been guiding you your whole life. But most of the time, it's been in only certain contexts, when it had to. Like when you had to turn to that, you did. Like when it really was on you, you had to go there. Right? You had to go somewhere deeper than just your training.
Yeah.
Yeah? So that's the thing, that if you can learn that is there for you everywhere. Like that's not only there for you in combat, that's not only there for you on the football field, that's not only there for you in times of crisis, that is actually, that can run the whole show from that place. Talk to me, because you're seeing something and I don't know why.
Well, when you say true self, you mean characteristic-wise, you mean just...
No, because characteristic-wise is a product of how you grew up.
Against conditioning,
and all
okay.
that. So no, it has nothing to do with personality.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with your body. It has nothing to do with, I'm trying to think of a movie where they do this, but like, you know those movies where they sort of somehow transplant souls?
Okay.
Do you ever see Quantum Leap?
Yes,
Yeah. So in Quantum Leap, like suddenly Sam is inside
Somebody
these
else.
other people's
Yeah.
lives. It's like that bit.
Okay.
That bit of you that would be the same whatever
Wherever it
you
is.
were in.
Okay.
So you might look different, you might talk different, you might have a different, you might be outgoing instead of, you might be shy. Like all that's on top. That's like the costume.
Okay.
That's the...
Can the true self derive from a situation? Would
No.
that still be considered?
No,
Okay,
so that's how part of how we know is if it's a product of anything, that must not be the true self. That's an effect. It can't be
okay.
cause.
Okay, that makes sense.
So the cause has to precede any conditions. It has to exist beyond any. It's unconditional in the literal sense of the word.
Okay.
Right. So in a funny way, as I'm talking about it, I'm realizing what I'm saying is all you got to do is figure out how to live your life from your unconditional self, and you're fine.
Yeah. That's funny. I'd say it differently. One of the things I decided with moving out here was I wasn't going to play into the conditioning. I wasn't going to do what was expected or the norms or the traditionalisms. It was, again, trying to break that and just trying to live, just trying to get away from the freedoms. I mean, just get freedom. There are so many things that I've been tagged as or given responsibility for, and it just weighs heavy. So it was just like moving out here, I didn't want anything, just to try to find that, just to, what do I do when nothing else? And I've yet to see that yet.
So here's the good news bit. Like the good news bit is actually, if instead of trying to not be that, you start looking to see what's there, like whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish I had better language for it, but
Yeah.
I don't.
No,
But
no.
it's in everyone, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But it's potential, it's possibility, it's true self. Then you can do what you know to do, even if your conditioning wants you to do it too. Right? Like that's it was always one of my favorite definitions of maturity. Maturity is doing what you want to do with your life, even if your parents want it for you too.
Instead of just fighting it just because your parents want to do it, yeah.
Right? So it's irrespective of conditioning.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let my conditioning define me. I'm not going to let it limit me, but I'm not going to avoid it.
Yeah.
Right? Now, here's another question. What is conditioning?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's just a training to perpetuate a certain behavior.
Right.
Policies and guidelines were given to you in a different series, whether by practical application, whether by context, whether by just studying for promotion, to bring about certain behaviors. Whether they were in deployment atmosphere or not, it was just, I know if I give you this content, I could hope for the better possibility of this behavior.
Yeah.
And then that, again, perpetuates different kind of more behaviors of the same.
But is it all, that makes it sound very deliberate.
I think it is.
Okay.
I think it's very deliberate.
Okay, so what about like a kid on the playground who gets picked on, makes a joke, everyone laughs, stops picking on him, and is conditioned to be the funny one to get on?
Yeah.
Like that strikes me as conditioning,
Yeah.
but not like it wasn't chosen. It wasn't for. In a way, you could say, okay, yeah, that's how they figured out how to be safe, how to be connected, how to be part of a group. But they weren't training themselves on purpose.
Okay, yeah. In a sense, I think if it wasn't being funny, if it was being another way, they just wanted the abuse to stop. The same thing with the conditioning on the other side. You follow the rules or you're punished.
Right.
You want the abuse to stop.
Yeah.
I still think at some point it's just the conditioning piece is hard to get away from. Whether you make it about just the things that are put out publicly in the media, just the things about your conditioning, your environment, I think it's very hard to get away from it.
Right.
Once you become conscious of it,
So,
maybe.
right.
But
But what if that is the problem? Right. That getting away from it isn't really an option because it's in you. But living beyond it is. Like, in other words, what if you could have all the conditioning you've got? What if it never went away? But you were fine and you could still make choices that your conditioning cringed at. But you knew were the right thing to do for you.
That's,
That would be good?
yeah, that's, but how do you do that? How do you're taught instincts, and you would think that the voice or the conditioning, I guess it would be determining the difference in the instinct, and I would think, I don't know.
All right, let me ask it a different way. Because if the only question is how to, we can do that. Like, that's easy. What I want to make sure is that if you could, that's what you'd want. Like, for me, that makes total sense. Like, that's definitely what
Absolutely,
I want. Okay, cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Then if we got that, then that's our contract, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that we're going to spend some time on.
Okay.
Is, okay, well, how the hell do I live beyond my conditioning? Right? Where it is not the dominant factor in what I do or don't do in my life. Yeah?
Okay.
Cool. So, let me go with a non-visual first. When you were being trained for, and actually this might have been true in football too, but like, was there a point where you had to overcome your conditioning to not be hit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right. So that conditioning was there, right? It's in pretty much all of us. I think it kind of comes with the equipment,
Yeah.
right? This being hit bad,
Yeah.
right? And yet you could actually overcome it, right? You could kind of, even though that thought was there, oh shit, this is going to hurt, you could still kind of
Brace for impact or
right,
get out of bounds.
Yeah, I mean all those different sporting things. I mean, it has to be the same in the military, right? Like I think instinctively we don't like getting shot at.
No, we don't. It's not fun.
Yeah, right. And yet there's something that lets you go in spite of the conditioning. That lets you move forward. Now there's two different ways that works that I've seen. One is different conditioning, right? Which is what they try and do, is they try and give you better conditioning, right? So give you more useful conditioning for the task at hand. So they try and condition you to run towards the fight instead of away from the fight, to run towards contact instead of avoid contact, whatever it is. And that works as well as it works when it works. But what I'm talking about is not a possibility, is without adding in different conditioning, to literally be able to respond in the moment regardless of the conditioning. Which means that you might run towards the fight or avoid the fight. You might run towards contact or avoid contact, but it's of the moment, not because you've reconditioned yourself to run towards instead of away, to attack instead of retreat, to make contact instead of avoid contact.
Yeah.
Does that make sense as a different?
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's what we're really looking for, right? If we want to live free, if we want to experience inner freedom, freedom of mind, freedom in the game, it's not going to work to restrict ourselves better, right? Because that's like what reprogramming yourself. That's really just basically saying, I'm still going to live according to my conditioning, I'm just going to try and put in better conditioning. And what that true self allows us to do is actually respond to something that was there before our conditioning.
Okay.
Like that was there in us from
Before.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason,
Well, for the reason that we live in a culture. Right? It almost wouldn't matter. The only difference the culture we live in makes is what the conditioning is.
True.
Right? You're not going to grow up in a culture and not be conditioned to survive in that culture.
Yeah.
Right?
Which, that's part of my biggest problems. I was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama, so a lot of my condition as it came to race relations, to, my mom had me when she was in high school. My father wasn't around. The statistic, actually, and I started thinking about this when I was thinking about writing a book, was the statistic that defined the black males born in my area at my time frame. 77 to 78% were going to die, and there was a large portion of the rest that were going to jail. And so I kind of lived very youngly, haphazardly, because I was like, well, shit, I don't have but an expectation to get to here anyway. And I remember when I even got the notion of thinking about the military, it was like, what? Like, there's something else? Because that's all I knew.
Yeah.
And it's even sad now, having been away so long and coming back and watching my nieces and nephews have that same mindset. And me trying to tell them and it just not click.
Yeah.
That, okay. And I don't know if I'm telling them the right things, but I'm like, it's something different than the conditioning. But from what I know, like, nobody can get past that.
And not that I think there's a right thing you could be telling them, but like, what are you telling them? What are you trying to tell them?
That just is something else.
Right.
I'm not trying to tell them what it is. I'm just trying to tell them it's something else.
Yeah.
Because I know, I thought when I was in the environment, there was nothing else. That the end, it was definitive. The glass ceiling. Like, even with supervisors in the military telling me things I couldn't accomplish. You can't. Why? Because nobody does it. But why? I've always just been capped by some type of thought process, and it plagues me. I'll stop moving because of it.
Let me ask you though, because it sounds like even though that was going on, there was something in you that knew that can't be right.
Yeah.
So that's that wisdom. That's that true self. That's that bit of you that exists before conditioning. that goes, well, that doesn't make any sense. I'm a completely unlimited soul.
Yeah.
Right? So how can that be true? Right? So that's already alive in you. That was alive in you the whole time. Even if it didn't win.
Yeah, his voice is smaller. Yeah.
Right? But it still was there. So it's not it's basically, so the nav system was doing its thing and it was going, why? I want to go left. Right? And you decided for very good reasons, within the context you were in, you know what, nav system, I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
I'm being told to go right. So that's different to not having it. Like if it's been there the whole time, you can trust it. Like the fact that you haven't listened to it a bunch of the time, for, like I say, for very good reasons, doesn't mean you can't rely on it. It just means you haven't had to before, or you haven't allowed yourself to, or I don't know what the words are. Right? What if you actually could rely on that? So instead of that being bucking the system, that's actually now going to be the guidance system, because it always has been. Right? It is that whatever it is in us, not that chafes at authority, because that's something else, but whatever it is in us that goes, well, why not? Or, well, that looks nice. Let's go that way. Right? It doesn't have to be profound, but that's what we got. We just don't respect it. You know, we don't think it, because it's not loud and it's not yelling at us and it's not threatening us, and nothing bad happens if we ignore it in any obvious, immediate way, most of the time. We just think, oh yeah, it's just, I get those thoughts. But that's the bit of us that we are made to navigate by. But we're just used to navigating by the good ideas, or by somebody else's good ideas.
Yeah, right? It's easier that way.
More of the time. Well, it's easier in the sense that you get on a little easier. Mm-hmm. It's easier in military style environments, which I'd include football in, where there's a clear command and structure, and it's designed for that. Like the military is not designed at most levels to encourage you to follow that. But yeah, because were you special forces?
Last 4 years, yes. I worked with special forces. Okay. Yeah.
So within special forces, as I understand, and again, I read books. Like, I'm not pretending to know shit. But like from what we've talked about, the little bit we talked about it, like, aren't you encouraged there to, within the structure, follow that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It just, when everybody's following the same pattern, it kind of aids in the team dynamics of at least being able to think of what we think the end goal is going to be. Reverse engineer, whether it was a protection mission where we all want to come home safely. Well, you start with that environment and work your way backwards. So you weren't told off in the bucket, and if you did, you had to have a real good reason why you did it.
Right. So there's a difference between following it because it works, like doing what's been laid out, because actually that's a pretty good way to get through it. And either having to follow it all the time or having to reject it all the time. So in a weird way, what I'm saying is, it's like everybody's got conditioning. Some of it's useful, a lot of it isn't. Right? Like, I think, Nina and I are probably like the embodiment of 1950s conditioning in many ways. We were born in the 60s, right? Like, we are a nice couple, and we're a nice nuclear family, and we have our 2.6 kids, and like we get that. But that works for us. Like, I don't care that I'm probably just living out some conditioning. I kind of like it. Now, I also was conditioned to not get ideas above myself, to not have nice things, because that draws attention to you. Now, that's in me, but it doesn't stop me from doing it. It just means I sometimes feel a little awkward when I do stuff, because I'm like, there's something in me that was told that was bad.
You can't do this, yeah.
Right? So conditioning is not a problem in and of itself unless you don't see it. Because then if you don't see it, then you think you're following, well, this is just what people do.
Okay.
Right?
I like that.
So for you, where do you see yourself most able to live unconditionally? Like live without, irrespective of your conditioning? Like there's got to be certain areas of your life where you just kind of go, yeah, I'm just going to do my thing here. I'm fine doing my thing here.
Just in the business now, just with the very, very unorthodox way I personally train people. It's kind of like just most people think working out is a stress reliever. It's actually stress on the body. But I know every time I've ever had, and I'm talking my darkest days and my hardest days, to break confinement, to any of those, and just working out. And I remember when it hit me that, okay, if working out is stress on the body and I work out every day, all I'm doing is getting more repetitions of dealing with stress than the everyday person who doesn't work out.
Right.
And that's where I started teaching. So nobody cares that I'm black. Nobody cares that I'm 40. Nobody cares that I'm a disabled vet. Nobody cares anything about that when I'm training them. Yeah. All they want is the information that I give them. Right. Go back, again, Birmingham, Alabama. Day-to-day life, I was a black kid and I was capped. But when I put on my uniform from my high school and I was that starting quarterback, blacks and whites allowed. They both cheered. Yeah. It didn't matter. So when I played the game, it didn't matter anything about anything they said. Yes, I grew up in the projects, but they didn't care if I threw the football right. So I took that. That's what I took. Yeah. The performance part. When I got in the military, they didn't care. As long as I could take soldiers over and bring them back home safely. A parent didn't care crying to me, bring my son home. She didn't care. She just wanted me to bring him back. Those are performing.
Right.
It's the only times I've never worried about the conditioning because people were more invested in just me. Right. They didn't, they wanted to know, as you said, the true self because that's what they needed to trust for their end result.
So was the important bit that other people didn't care?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that the important bit? Like why is that? Why does that?
Yeah. Why does it matter? I don't know.
No, and I don't either, but that's why it's probably a decent question first.
I don't know.
Like, because that's not obvious that would be the critical factor.
Yeah.
Because if it was, we're really at the mercy of some weird ass shit. Because it's like,
yeah, you're right.
Like that guy out there that you were talking to earlier. Like, is his opinion going to dictate? Well, he doesn't care, so I'll come in. But he seems quite concerned. Okay, I won't do it.
No,
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have to listen to that.
Yeah, I guess that's the place of what I was saying earlier, with just, I haven't had enough use of the inner voice. It is quieter. Yeah. Things that are louder do get your attention faster. Yeah. I don't know.
So that's cool. So we tend to hear what we're listening for.
Yeah.
Right? So the fact that it sounds softer, it might be softer. I don't actually know because it's not really a voice.
Yeah.
But if that's what we're listening for, we're going to hear it more of the time, no matter how soft it is. And if we know what other noise we have to sift through, like signal noise, that notion, then it's easier to dismiss the noise so that we can pick up on the signal, even if the signal is faint. Well, if we know what the other voices sound like, then it's easier to hear the voice we're listening for. Because I don't know, since it isn't really a voice, I don't know that we can really turn it up, but we can absolutely discern within ourselves, what are we following?
That is speaking.
And it's the most worthwhile thing from my point of view, because that's what then lets us live life from this deeper place, irrespective of conditioning. Right? I say shit when I'm up in front of people, when I'm in sessions, that embarrasses me, that I think I'm going to hell for coming out of my mouth. But I'll be damned if I'm not going to say them because I know they help people a lot of the time. And when they don't, they're usually funny. So it's like I don't do it on purpose, but I am willing to let it come through me. In aid of where I want to go, where I want to take people. So that didn't used to be the case. It used to be I tried to be good.
The image.
And then that was just very limited impact.
Yeah.
Right? Now you've seen in performance situations that the performance is the point.
Yeah.
Right? Now you say it's for other people, but at some level you got to agree with them.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you really thought it was a terrible idea to throw a touchdown, you probably wouldn't do it.
No, you played into it. You're absolutely right.
Right.
The cheers, the pat on the backs, the attaboys,
And look, that's fun when you're winning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that gets really hard when you're not.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with us thinking that we can get what we need from other people. Like that's why any relationship that goes south pretty much goes south because one person and often it's both of them, but like one person starts caring too much about what the other person thinks.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? They start playing to the praise. They start playing to the affection. And inadvertently, now it becomes this dependency, right? Where I'm not okay until you're okay. And are you okay? And what can I do for you, honey?
And then I'm okay.
Right? And then it's just a living hell. Right? And that's like true across the board. It's just easier to see in those kinds of relationships. Right? That you can see, oh, that's not healthy. Right? If you got a friend who's in a relationship.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
You know, like if you're going to sit down and have a man-to-man talk with them, you're not going to say, oh, you're doing great. You're going to say, Jesus Christ. You know. And yet, it really does feel like it matters. Right? I mean, it feels like it really matters what they think. Right? Because and what is it for you? Is it like I'm not safe, I'm not going to be happy, I'm not going to be okay? Like what's the pain you're avoiding kind of a thing?
Really, I was avoiding being, or I won't say now, but I was avoiding being alone.
Right.
Alone it's never, if you're alone, you don't have friends, and this means you're not a good person. If you're alone or you don't have people around you, then obviously there's something wrong with you. So that, almost similar to the kids you spoke about earlier, that's what caused me to be friendly, to always have people around. And there were these episodes I had where I could see the performer, and it's almost like me back here watching it, like trying to figure out what the hell is happening, because this guy's just performing, but this guy's dying over here. And he's trying to figure it out, but everybody seems to like this, so it was just this super weird, like watching yourself perform, and digging and carving away to it is trying to drop certain expectations, and it wasn't until the hardest times. It wasn't until I was flat out, and people I thought were friends left, the divorce and. Coming back from a deployment and just not readjusting well to life. And it was just canceling a lot of stuff in isolation. And this particular time I got in isolation, I had new information. And that kind of helped me, like, wow, it didn't even matter what they thought. I still failed, or I still did well.
Right.
I just haven't had enough of those experiences to trump what I think I know.
So,
I'm trying, but...
So that's interesting. I actually got two different questions, but let me stay with that one, and then if I lose it...
We'll come back, yeah.
Right? How many experiences do you think you need to have?
Yeah, it's just one. But
so that's what's
the truth statement, just one.
Because, it's like if I don't know, if you came on the freeway and I told you, hey, it's quicker on Topanga, Like,
How many times? Yeah. Some's are easier than some's not. It's the same way in saying, do you love your wife?
yes, I do.
Okay. How many times do you work out a week?
4.
4. Okay. I would say that is conducive to you loving your wife because that ensures that you're here a little bit longer to spend more time with her. Mm-hmm. So I take somebody who, I love my family, I do everything for my family. Okay, how many times you work out a week? And they go, none. I said, then you're going to die early on them. No. Okay, then I show them statistics. No. It just doesn't, sometimes it doesn't click. And that's to include myself.
Okay, so what do you think the difference is between when you say that to somebody and it clicks and when you say that to somebody and it doesn't click?
Them.
Right, so some people just don't have a click?
No. Them and where they are. Let me say, them and where they are.
Okay.
Yeah, them and where they are.
Have you ever been surprised where somebody you didn't think was going to get it gutted and somebody you thought was going to get it?
Yeah, definitely.
See, that's the thing. I don't think it can be where they are. Because otherwise we would be able to predict it.
Predict who they were.
Accurately. So here's my theory on the click. Right? Like, when something clicks, that's a capacity in all human beings. You know, I talk about it as a capacity for insight. But it's the same capacity that lets us get a joke. Right? It's not logical. It's not, yes, I see why that's funny. Well said. Right? No, it's
just
like, we just laugh. It's the shortcut thing. It's like, oh, yeah, that's a better idea. Like, we just see it. And once we see it, we don't need a million examples because we've seen it. And so then it becomes a really interesting question. Well, like, where does insight come from? Like, how does that work? Because that's the game changer, right? Because once somebody sees it, new game. Right? Once that person sees it, it's no longer they're exercising because you told them to, or they're exercising because they paid you and they want to make it worthwhile, or any of the reasons that we make up. Now they're exercising because they want to be there.
Yeah.
Right? They want to feel good. Right? And then it's easy. Right? Then it's just refinement, then it's just thing. So the question is, how do we find that click in us? And do you understand that as a question? Like that would be the question?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how we find it. If you find it, you have to define it, though. I mean, if you just think about it, if I could say it's A, B, and C that produced this, then I would be able to hold it and do it. But I can't. I don't know abstractly why.
Well, right. So what I'm suggesting is that it's probably worth us taking some time to look and see what we can see. Like, if I had an ABC for you, you know, I'd have written it in the book. We wouldn't need to be here. But there's something. Here are a few things I've seen about it. I'll start with me. Okay. It seems to happen when you're not trying.
I agree.
Like, when you're trying to get something really hard, it's not till you kind of forget about it later that you go, oh, right? You're trying to remember the name of a movie or something. Right? And then you forget about it and then you remember. Right? Or, you're really trying to understand something and then you just go, oh, fuck it. And you go out and then the next day somebody's like, oh, I get this. Right? You were telling me is it blockchain or?
Cryptocurrency?
Cryptocurrency, right? When you first looked at that, it was great, right? I mean,
I couldn't understand it.
And then at a certain point, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's how we learn. It's built into us that we don't see and then we see.
Yeah.
It's not really progression. It happens over time, but actually, there's just a moment at which it starts to make sense. So we don't know, and then we know. Now that's very different to try really hard to figure it out, try really hard to figure it out, try really hard to figure it out. That's a different game. Yeah. Now here's how people think it works. Like I read a book actually, there's a book called The Breakthrough Principle. I was really excited when this book came out. It was by Herbert Benson. You ever heard of the Calm meditation? Mm-hmm. So like he was the guy who
Invented the app for, oh, okay.
yeah, and I think it was him, actually. I might be muddling it up, but he was the first like medical doctor to make meditation a thing.
Okay.
You know, to say, hey, this is good for you. And I think it was you repeated the number 1 or something was the basis of his meditation. Then I was working in a bookshop and I heard there was this new book by him on insight, like how to get insights, break through your conditioning and your thinking. And I was like, oh, I could not wait for this.
Yeah, got to read it.
Like, and I work in a bookshop, so I'm going to get it first. You know, now we're in England, so I got to wait. So I know it's coming. I know it's coming. Every day I check the shipments. Not there. When the shipment comes in, you know, to hell with the customers. Like, you know, I'm like, oh, back. Here's the fucking book. It's so disappointing. Right? Okay. 1. Decide what you want to have insight into. 2. Read everything you can about it and try to make sense of it. 3. Give up. 4. Enjoy your insight. Now, if you actually look at insights you've had in your life, it's kind of right. Like that is kind of what we do. Mm-hmm. We think, oh man, I'd like to learn more about this, or I'd like to kind of change this. So we kind of make a study of it. We talk to people about it. We like, you know, okay, well this book says this and this book says this. And then we try really hard and it doesn't work. So at some point we go, oh, fuck it. And then suddenly we see something. But all that stuff at the beginning, that makes it sound like a formula.
Yeah.
Right? Actually, it's how our minds work.
Anyway.
Yeah. Like that's how anybody learns anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But we just don't trust it. We don't trust that, hey, you know what? If I aim myself in a direction and I open my mind, at some point I'll see stuff. And at some point I'll see something that's true, that I just know is true. And when I do, I've got that. Now that's part of my foundation. That's no longer conditioned. That's no longer a good idea I read that I'm trying out, trying to put to the test. That's just like, oh yeah, that's true.
And that's in everything.
It is in everything. There is a truth. There is an impersonal truth in anything. And by impersonal, I just mean like, it's not your truth versus my truth. It's just true. It rarely seems profound because it's just true. Right? It's like people feel bad sometimes. Well, that's just true, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't sound like a big deal, but actually, that's universal. That's impersonal. That's just true. Like that's the territory where we get insight. When we can find things that are just true about life, about human beings, not about us as in Rob and Michael. Like we can get insights into that too, but that's more at the level of the conditioning. Right? Like I can go, oh yeah, this came from, I learned this in the projects, I learned this in the playground, I learned this, right? But that's us. And so that might be helpful to us, but it's not a game changer, usually. It just maybe gives us a little bit more patience for ourselves. Right? The game changer is when we see something that's true outside of our condition. Because that we can rely on regardless.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the conditioning was I could only be A. And like I said, it wasn't until I thought that something else was even possible to overcome that.
Yeah.
that particular type of conditioning where it no longer, struggle with or anything. It was seeing something different. But yeah, at least for me, if I had to bet on it 5 times, I'll still 3, and question the other 2. Even though it's got me this far, even though I've beat the statistics, even though I've overcame certain situations or whatever the case may be, it's still sometimes that I'm not as confident standing in it. Mm-hmm. Even times I've stood in it and been absolutely right, I wasn't confident when I stood up in it.
Right. So that makes me wonder if it matters that you feel confident in it. If you know that it's the place to stand in, does it matter that sometimes you don't feel confident in it?
That's a good point. I never thought about that. I never really thought about that.
I don't either, but it's an interesting point, right? Like, do we need to always feel, yeah, I got this, in order to have it?
I don't think so, because, sometimes you feel like doing things, sometimes you don't. It just, I guess I needed another word for feel, but I don't know, Mike.
Well, I actually think I don't know is perfect. Because if we're willing to not know, at some point we'll see something.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I would say we are in the right question. Like, we don't know the right thing to not know.
Yeah.
Because whatever we see about it's going to happen. Right? Anything we see that's more true than what we see now is going to be helpful to us.
You're true. Yeah.
Right? So that's just the direction I want us to look. That's the direction I want our conversations to go. Whatever area we go into, I want to bring it back to what is universally true, because that becomes the foundation from which we can live our life. And that's just a different direction than, us going into your childhood, us going into your past experiences, us trying to make sense of why you are the way you are. Because it's just a big rabbit hole. And yeah, you can sometimes find cool things down a rabbit hole, but you can also get lost down rabbit holes for long periods of time.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's dark down there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, okay, here was the other piece. I want to just, and this is a hell of a thing to land on you, because I'm gonna stop in a minute for this first session. But I do want to ask it, and it's not a trick question, and it's not a joke question, and it's not a mean question. But if you were doing all those things to not be alone, because if you're alone, if nobody wants to be with you, then that must mean there's something wrong with you. The question is there something wrong with you?
Oh, yeah. Something's wrong with me.
Oh, okay, cool. What?
Yeah, I'm crazy. Like, just in my thought processes, the environments that I'm in, usually, there's very few times, and this is something I learned about myself. When I'll go back. The dinner party we met. When I came in, we shook hands. I went to the back. She just so happened to have a copy of your book on her counter. I thumbed through it. I had identified at that point like-mindedness, okay, he's got something over there. Yeah. And then next thing you know, I was attached to asking questions and basically monopolizing the remainder of your time. There are very few times I've had that. Right. So I've walked a lot feeling different. Right. Sometimes different was praised. Sometimes different was just, you're out there alone. You're a lone ranger. And then you get the things of the arrogance and the cockiness because you're willing to be alone or out there by yourself attached to you. And then that just breaks down your trust in that particular instinct. But I think something is definitely wrong with me. I just don't know. Well, I'm not going to be normed just because of all the blocks I've broke out of, or all the blocks or things I've had to overcome. this block said I was supposed to be this. Nope, you're wrong. This block has said this. Nobody has identified me properly. The things that were supposed to be my biggest failures turned out to be the best things to ever happen to me. Like, that particular situation is going to kill you. That particular situation made me the best version of me. It's like chaos.
Yeah. So, all right, here's your homework over the break, and it's really simple. For the next, so I think what we'll do is we're going to break. So I'll break them with us.
Okay.
I'm going to come back with them. Sorry, I'm not good at this. I'm going to meet them at 2:15.
Okay.
And we'll start back around 2:30.
Yeah.
Right. So if you can be back here for 2:30. If you want to come back earlier, that's fine. But I'm going to talk to them around 2:15, and we'll start back around 2:30. So between now and 2:30, I want you to just walk around, do whatever you do, and consider the possibility that there's nothing wrong with it. Just consider the possibility. I'm not even saying it decisively, but just see what that brings up for you to spend a couple hours as if there's nothing wrong with you. And let's talk about that when we come back.
Okay.
Yeah? Cool. All right, fine.
Thanks.
So when you came in, I, as you would, said, "What did you do last night?" And you started to tell me, and I went, "Oh shit, no, we shouldn't have a conversation that's not on camera." So Rob, what did you do last night?
I was telling Lynn, it took me about 30 minutes after leaving to realize I was driving home, first off. The fact that I was driving on the road, my mind was just all over the place. But when I got home, I kind of settled in and was just really thinking about my business plan and the programs I've created and the stuff I do. And if it was me, if I had rose above my conditioning when I developed it, or if it was made off my conditioning, was there more I could dig into? And it started unpeeling. Where I was looking at, I only implemented that because of this. Really get rid of it.
Yeah.
And I called my coach last time. I was like, "Hey man, we're gonna make a whole bunch of adjustments." He was like, "Wait, what happened? What happened?" And I was like, we're gonna switch some things up. Let me stay in this for the next 2 days and see what happens. But we're gonna peel some stuff and dig into. So that was a good night. I think it was.
Cool. Yeah.
Got to talking to my son about it, my stepson, and we were, for him, he's about to go off to college.
Yeah.
I was talking about it. He's like, I thought about that before. And of course, put him on TEDx. He was like, "Oh my God." I was like, yeah. And so, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting night.
Yeah. How did you like? How did you talk to him about it? Like, what did you say to him?
Well, first I drew that.
Right.
I
Okay.
drew the brain, the wisdom, because here for the past couple of weeks, this big transition for him, graduating from a junior college to big UCLA for him. Things he was just like, he had so many thoughts in his head.
Yeah.
And I was just like, we got it quieter and to hear the ones. And he literally said it himself. He said, "I don't know which ones are the real ones or he said, I'm kind of sorting through them. And I was like, no, like, sit down, let me show you this. Let me draw this out for you. Just like it was just drawn out for me. So it was so cool to see it because I had just experienced it. And for his eyes to bloom, for him to have that same information, it was like, wow. And I was way more excited because he's 18, so he gets it now. It's limitless what he could possibly do with it, with understanding. So that was pretty good. I called my daughter on my way down here this morning. I was like, "I got to tell you about this." She was thinking the same thing. I was like, let him go. Separate yourself from them. Understand they exist, but they shouldn't stop things from flowing. The atmospheres, the conditionings, the things. It really doesn't matter. It means absolutely nothing. And she was just like, but I was like, no, but nothing. Just decide, put it over to the side and move. Just move. She was like, okay. And so it's
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, you said one of the things you started to talk about, which is when I realized, we shouldn't talk about it till this, was about what you noticed about how the conversation happened. Like,
yes. So most of the times, one of the things I was telling you is always having a coach in front of me or always having a voice. What I loved most about the interaction was if I was to explain it to somebody, I would explain it like, you had me just kind of like in this lane. You couldn't touch me if you were playing a game where you couldn't touch me. You just had to tilt the screen for the ball to stay in the middle to follow down. And that's what I felt like. You weren't telling me what I was supposed to think. You weren't telling me from the concept what I should get. You didn't have any concrete. You were giving me the concept and letting it take its form from me because I'm different.
Right.
And I love the way you did that because it was my illumination. It wasn't Mike's.
Right.
So I didn't just begin to say what you say again. No, this was Robert who felt that. And I was like, that's where I want to put more into what I do when it comes to wellness for people.
Yeah.
Because I know how important health and wellness is, I tend to want to tell them, you must do A, B, and C I really should just give them the principles and let them figure out what works best for their life.
Yeah.
Because what works best for a CEO may work differently for a single mom at home.
Yeah.
And if I try to train you both the same, I'll fail.
Right.
So that was the...
Yeah. No, I love the metaphor. There was a thing I drew up for the group. I think it's on this flip chart. It is. Cool. So normally, coaching, and actually I wasn't thinking of you when I drew it, but it's very much like what you had kind of were just described. You have this connection, so you know stuff about fitness, right? You kind of just know, and you try and give it to the client, right? And what you were just describing that we did together is I got my relationship with this, but I know the impact is you having your relationship with this.
Exactly.
So me just doing this, unless it gets you to look back up here, doesn't help.
Doesn't help at all.
No matter how good this is, it's not theirs.
And the funny part is, if I wanted to just give it direct to the client, if I was only concerned about monetary value, then yes, that would.
Oh, absolutely. Great way to make quick cash. No question. Right. Yeah.
But it was the fact that I genuinely tell clients all the time, I only want to train with you for 6 months to a year. And then after that, you should get away from it.
Yeah.
Because my voice becomes wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
And that's a clear indication that you never tapped into your own. As it pertains to this. You should sit, and my mindset says, you shouldn't be around me for 6 months and not gain something.
Yeah.
Especially in the realm of how this works. So I love the way you did that because it's so much bigger than me sitting here and you telling me 3 things and I walk away thinking about Michael's 3 things.
Yeah.
And I'll apply them, but at some point they're going to fail.
Yeah.
Because they were your 3 things.
Right.
So that was just...
Well, it's worse than that.
Oh, man.
No, because it's not just that they were my 3 things, but they were of a moment. Like the thing about this wisdom is it's of a moment. It's always there, but it's fresh in the moment. So those 3 things might have been brilliant when they came to me, but they get a little weaker every day. Because now they're a day-old milk, now they're a week-old milk, now they're like last year's milk, right? It was really nourishing when I first drank it, but it goes off. And then I start to think, well, what's wrong with my magic milk, my magic formula? Well, nothing. It's just it was of a moment and you're not in that moment anymore. You're in a new moment, you're in a new body, right? You're not in the body you were in when you were 20. And so what was perfect for you when you were 20 might fuck you up right now.
Oh yeah.
And what's perfect for you, I won't use you because you're probably fitter by 10 than me. What's perfect for me now might not have been enough for me when I was 20.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So see that for me was one of the game changers, was seeing it wasn't like I had to remember it, other than the fact that this source of wisdom exists. Mm-hmm. Because it's going to tell me something fresh today. It's going to tell me something fresh in our conversation today. You're going to have things come to your mind fresh today. It doesn't matter what we saw yesterday, but if we look in the same place, we'll see something new today. And if we look in the same place, we'll see something new tomorrow. And the beauty of it is with us everywhere, all the time. Like it's there when we need it, and we're just not used to going there. You know.
It was, and after you get it, it's like, oh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Of course it's that way. You're like, who doesn't know that? And you realize you spent so many years not knowing. You're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. No, I always talk about Homer Simpson insights. It's like, how did I not see that? Yeah. Well, okay. So look, we got a brand new day, brand new us. What should we talk about today? Like, what would be great to explore? What would be great to look at?
Okay. Wisdom.
All right.
All right. Now, this is the part that really is going to get to the clear delineation between wisdom's voice and conditioning. Okay?
Yeah.
If I've been exposed to only negative things, how is it that my wisdom may not be negative, or will it be negative? You know, how does it still allow the separation between? Yes.
Yeah. I got you. Okay. So that'll take 20 minutes after. No, but like what? Let's just do a little brain dump, and we got a couple days. We'll do what we do and however it comes up. But what else would be great?
Methods of the noise. Kind of fishing through the white noise to get wisdom.
Yeah.
I guess that's still what it is.
Yeah, that fits under there. Yeah.
What does that consciousness? What comes with the consciousness? Once I acquire this knowledge, now, you know, what responsibility do I have to it? Because
But just say implications, like
yes.
Say more. Finish that sentence though. What responsibilities do I have to it?
What responsibilities do I have with now this knowledge? Because in believing, nothing just happens by chance. You know, what am I supposed to do with it? Because it's not. It wasn't just given to me. I wasn't made aware of it for the purpose of just being made aware of it. It has an action, in my opinion, or a behavior that should be attached to it. Does it add to a collective group of people who are going out making things better for others? What behavior patterns should I be changing or addressing?
I'll just put that as a separate.
I guess we also can put in there
We're good. I mean, this, you know, we can do this for the rest of our lives. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, but I think this is actually a really cool place to start. So let me start with the first one, with like wisdom versus conditioning. See, and I'm just trying to sort what I know is true versus what I think is true, so I can kind of be clean on them. Whatever wisdom is, wherever it comes from, is beyond the brain, right? Or before the conditioning, right? So Sid Banks, the guy who first articulated this, like in a right, he would talk about how the mind is to the brain as electricity is to the computer. I don't know if he used that exact metaphor, but that was the implication. It's like, yeah, the computer's got all this processing power, but without something powering it, it's nothing, right? So we've got a brain and it's really cool, but without something powering it, it's you know, it's a lump in a jar in a mad scientist movie, right? So since wisdom comes before the brain, it doesn't matter what the brain is conditioned to think. It's untouched by that because it exists before it. And so it literally, so it's basically like if there was a waterfall, and after the waterfall, a river, right? So the waterfall flows down into a river. And in the river, downstream of the waterfall, there are beaver dams and there's trash that people have dumped in there over the years, and you know, there's just all sorts of shit in the river. So to ask, how can wisdom not be tainted by our conditioning? Like if we've had all negative conditioning, how is wisdom not negative? Is like saying, given the beaver dams and trash and shit in the river downstream, how is the water from the waterfall so pure? Well, of course the water from the waterfall is pure because that was before. It was upstream of that. So knowing that it's you can't fuck wisdom up. You can ignore it. You can interpret it through a lot of crap, but it is continually a pure stream of wisdom, information, data, intelligence, feeling. And we just are so not used to opening up to it. We're so used to looking downstream and going, wow, it looks pretty shitty down there. Or looking like 10 feet upstream to our childhood and going, ooh, there was a lot of dumping of toxic crap. But it doesn't matter because the nature of it is it'll get washed away over time to the extent that we're going upstream. Right, so the water itself clears the crap. You know, I'm not saying we might not occasionally need to go in and knock down you know, if there's something blocking it, we might want to move the block. But the block can't stop the flow really because it's downstream. And anything downstream of source is going to get washed away in time. Right? But the reason it doesn't look that way is because we all sort of, until we see something about this, we live in a world ignorant of the waterfall. So we think if anything's going to change, it's got to be up to me.
Even though the world existed, perhaps.
Did you notice? Yeah, I heard that too. I saw, yeah.
Yeah, now that you think about it, yes, I know there were times when I said, oh, it's not going to happen unless I do it. It's like, no.
Yeah.
If you were sick today, you'd be next man up.
Yeah.
So it really isn't you. It isn't, you know, we used to talk that concept a lot in the military. It's the humbling of knowing that somebody will come behind you. And so it made it easier for you to make decisions.
Yeah.
It made it easier for you to do things because you knew it wasn't solely on your shoulders. But I guess in life or individually, you start thinking, oh, the weight of the world. You know, you hear people say, the weight of the world is on my shoulders. So why is that? Because that's a bunch of people who live in the world. Why don't they carry their part too?
Yeah. So let's metaphor that over to the mind.
Yeah.
Right? So in the world and in the military, absolutely. It's like it's not all on you because next man up. Well, our brains don't have to figure it out because if our brains can't figure it out, it's next thought up. Like wisdom will bring a new thought. It'll bring a new idea. It'll help us see a new opportunity that we've never seen, a fresh thought. Right? So we don't have to worry about figuring it out with what we know so far. Because literally in any moment, we can have a new thought. So it doesn't matter if we've never been there before. It doesn't matter if everything we have thought up until now wouldn't allow for that. right? That's why the whole idea of impossible is a little silly, because impossible based on what? Well, based on what I've thought so far, based on what I've done so far, based on what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
Doesn't take into account, I can have a brand new thought that I've never had before. And I will literally see things I've never seen before because of it.
Yeah.
And that, in the same way as next man up means I don't have to carry the weight of the world on my shoulders, next thought up means I don't have to carry the weight of the world on me figuring it all out and making it happen, right? There's something larger than me behind me. I got the wind at my back, right? It's got me, right? I don't have to, float good, right? The water's got me, right? We're made to float. Well, this river, this wisdom, this waterfall, it's got us. And if we fight it, we'll drown, right? And if we go with it, it'll carry us.
It's just super hard sometimes for, well, not super hard, but sometimes it's still, the conditioning is the best horror movie in the world, like the best graphics, the best,
Yeah.
The special effects. It's one hell of a production sometimes.
Well, see, and that is what consciousness does. Consciousness is the special effects department of the brain, right? It makes every thought seem like it's really happening, right? We can feel it,
Yeah.
and it's like, and nothing's happening. And we're going, what's wrong? Well, nothing's wrong. It's working perfectly. Great movie. Amazing special effects department. But it'll bring anything to life. Doesn't matter what the thought is, it'll just bring it to life. It's its job, right? It doesn't choose. It doesn't go, oh, I'm not going to work on this movie, right? I only work on comedies, right? No, it's my job. You give me a script, I'll make it real. And that is, again, one of those pieces of good news that seems like bad news, right? Because it's like, oh shit, you mean I can't stop it from happening? Well, no, but the great thing is that means you don't have to make it happen. Right? As soon as you get a better thought, right? As soon as you get a clearer thought, as soon as you get kind of one of those knowings, that's real too, And that speaks to me to the, well, what behaviors do I need to change? What behavior patterns do I need to change? Not one of them, because the ones that don't serve you will fall away. Right? It's not on you anymore. Right? If you've got a platoon, it's not on you to do everything, right? If you've got mind, this wisdom at your back, it's not on you to do the heavy lifting. You got to do your job, right?
Yeah.
No way out of that one.
No way out of that one. Yeah.
But that's cool. We're made to do our job, right? But we get beat down by trying to do the job of the universe, trying to do wisdom's job with our little brains, right? Trying to do life's job with our will. Right? And look, we're pretty willful. We can do some shit, right? But we're not made to work that way 24/7. Like, I don't remember if you and I talked about this when we talked before, but the research on stress shows that we are made to function with the stress response, 30 minutes every 48 to 72 hours. Like, the body is designed to handle that brilliantly. So if you just occasionally got into a situation and got freaked out, or got into your head and got freaked out, no problem. Literally no problem. Body's made to handle that as part of the flow. But we live in our heads, and we're creating stressful movies.
Yes.
I don't know, like in a 72-hour period, 60 hours, right? Right? And that winds up then fucking our bodies.
Yes.
Because your body, right, because your body has to kind of go, hey, if I'm being chased by a tiger, my long-term good is not really on my mind, right? Survival is on my mind. So I'm going to shut down the front of my brain, the kind of good discerning decision-making part of my brain, because all I need to go is left or right to get away from the tiger, right? And I'm going to shut down, like there's no point worrying about reproducing, because I might be dead in a minute. So my sex drive's going to go, and that's going to start to go. And all these things that are part of our long-term thriving shut down. Even organs and muscle growth. Like the only muscles that are going to work are the ones that the fast twitch need it now. That's not going to get me healthy at all, right? So all this stuff happens in the body because we're living under constant stress, chronic stress. But the chronic stress is being created by the brain thoughts, right? Not by actual life. Which is why, if it was life, we'd just be fucked sometimes, right? If it was life, oh well, you hope for better circumstances next incarnation. I don't know what you do, right? But it's not life. You ever heard of Rat Park? Okay, so this was a study they did with Vietnam vets. I think the scientist's name was Bruce Alexander. But basically, they reckoned that over 50% of soldiers in Vietnam were taking heroin regularly. Okay. Because it was there. Yeah. And it was most people found Vietnam quite stressful apparently. Yeah, right? So that was the number one way of stress relief. And so the military started having to plan for, well shit, we're about to dump all these people back into America with heroin issues. We're about to have a real problem here. Well, the way it actually panned out, less than 9% of that 50% still did heroin when they came home. And they didn't understand that. They were like, well, hang on, no, if they're taking it every day over there, why are they not addicted? And what they started to see is, if you don't have the poison of the stress, you don't need the antidote of the heroin. Now, to my mind, and I'll explain why it's called Rat Park in a minute, because none of this makes sense yet. But to my mind, they got it half right. So what they theorized, because they saw that was observable, that was undeniable, that was this makes me question what addiction is, right? And it raises this idea that, okay, we engage in these harmful behaviors to cope with something. When there's nothing to cope with, we don't necessarily keep engaging in the behaviors, right? So, because the system's kind of self-correcting. It kind of goes, I don't need to do that anymore, and it stops. It's not like they willfully stopped. It was like, well, why would I take heroin, right? So what part of it was they did these experiments with rats. So they had sugar water and heroin sugar water, literally. And they found that the rats in a small overcrowded cage all went to the heroin water. That was the water they drank. There were two choices, and they would all drink the heroin water. When they put them they created this thing nicknamed Rat Park. So it was like rat heaven. I don't know what rats love, but they put everything rats love in there. Little rat seesaws, rat movies. I don't know, but they created rat heaven. Put the same two bottles in. None of the rats would touch the heroin water. They all drank just the sweet water. And so they concluded, if we can create a better environment for people, they'll make better choices. What they didn't take into account, because people don't know it, they don't see it until they see it, like yesterday, is environment is internal, not external, right? I've worked with more rich dudes in big houses who have drug issues than poor people in shitty housing that have drug issues, right? I get it exists in both worlds, but it's not to do with environment on the outside. It's 100% to do with environment on the inside. If you live in a toxic internal environment, you will find ways of coping with that. You might have sex problems, you might have gambling problems, you might have drug problems, you might have alcohol problems, you might have whatever you figured out helps you cope, right? You might have violence issues, it's all just coping. But if your internal environment is non-toxic and is actually kind of nice, well, all of that just falls away because, well, why would I do that? That's horrible.
That would make something wrong with you.
Right. And it's common sense both ways. That's the interesting thing. It's like it sounds weird, but it's kind of common sense to do heroin if you're in that much stress. Because it's like, hell, anything's got to be better than this. Right? Whereas if you're doing great on the inside, why would I do shit like that? That's going to fuck me up. So when you start to see it like that, then you start to see, okay, well, if all I'm feeling is thought in the moment, if that's my environment is thought in the moment. It's made of thought in the moment. Well, one way to try and fix that was, I need to control my thinking, right? I need to only have good thoughts. And that is the sort of semi-enlightened, I call it enlightened outside in, right? So it still thinks environment is created from something outside, but it's thought. So now I want to get the right thoughts and then I'll be okay. But that doesn't work, mostly because we don't control our thinking, right? In other words, it's constantly changing and different things, and it's subject to conditioning and all of that. And so we're in this endless battle with thought. And of course, if you're at war, even if it's with thought, you're going to be stressed. And if you're stressed, we're right back where we started. Well, if you start going upstream, right? If you start looking to the waterfall more, right, up to towards the source, well, now you're swimming in the clean water most of the time. You're still going to drift downstream and get caught up in this, but now you're spending more and more time before this can even mess with it. So your internal environment is golden moment by moment, even if your thinking's still fucked up, because you're not living in it in the same way. It's there, but you're living up here. And this is the real rat park, right? This is the environment that actually is already existent in every human being. They just don't know it.
It's so funny, I've taught this not knowing I was teaching this, into now knowing what it is. So
Tell me, yeah.
Okay, so we teach security.
Yep.
Yeah, the best or most key terrain or biggest position is the one of height. Mm-hmm. That's why you put snipers up. You elevate them so that they're able to make a clear decision on the end goal without the obstructions. But who would put a sniper on the 3rd floor when the tree goes up to the 7th? He can't see.
Right.
And so you have to put him above, a normal, a natural day-to-day conditioning, or for him, natural. A tree's been there. A tree's not going to pop up overnight.
Right.
If you go to a hotel and there's a tree covering up to the 6th floor, it's not going anywhere unless they cut it down. So it's always been like, get above that so you can see. And this is kind of like the same thing. You feel that mind up and that awareness with all kind of conditioning and things and the media and this and that and what can go, what can't happen. And if you don't get above it to at least see, it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there. It happens in airplanes when you go up through the clouds.
Right.
And you're looking down as they rain. And you're like, wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
Watching that rain down on people who are getting wet, like us today, but somebody's flying above that.
Right. And the beauty of it is, like, that's easier than trying to change the weather. Right, and it's right, and it's even easier than cutting down all the trees, even though you can cut down trees. Like, it's a lot easier to just go up 3 more floors, right? Well, that choice is always available to us. We will not always take it. It will not always occur to us because it's not as obvious as that. But it gets more and more obvious as you go. Right, you start to see it more and more. Like already, you're starting to go, oh, that's like this. That's like this. That's how we work. Right? We're really smart. Oh, I can get down here in 20 minutes instead of an hour and a half. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I can definitely see that. If you do apply it, and maybe the thing is I'll do this every decision until it becomes a rhythm. But looking at it, going, You know?
See, okay, because actually I think that's a really cool thing to look at is like how much do we have to do to make it stick, like to actually change. Now, tell me about, like with the shortcut, we talked about it, like you don't need to practice the shortcut.
No, you just take that.
You just take the shortcut once you see it. So why does this seem like it might take practice? I'm not saying it doesn't definitively, but like how in your mind is this different to that?
Honestly, it would be due to conditioning.
Right. See,
Due to the way of being taught how you learn.
Right.
You have to practice things. What is it, 21 days to form a habit, 7 days to form, whichever. I've heard 3 hours, I've heard 21 days. Or, you know, it's again trying to do it just to rise over that for the decision.
Right. So, but let's take a fresh look at that and see if that's true.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I'm going to hammer this one to death and then find a better one. But like, let's stick with the shortcut, right? Let's say you've been driving to work the same way for 20, 30 years, right? Let's say your dad used to drive to work the same way, right? That's how you learn the route. It still doesn't take you any longer to start taking the shortcut, right? So it can't be. See, I only need the habit if I'm trying to live in better conditioning. If I'm trying to replace bad conditioning with good conditioning. But if we're talking about living more before our conditioning, above our conditioning, then that doesn't matter at all. It would matter. You're absolutely right. I knew there was something about what you were saying, but it would only matter if I was playing the game of, I'm still going to live in conditioning, I just like better conditioning. I'm still going to live in thought, but I want better thought. Then it would take work. It would take practice. It would take conditioning. That would make total sense.
Yeah, that does. So when you would need it then.
Well, it doesn't look like it to me, and that's been my experience. It's like, so I actually had the first time I ever did one of these 3 days. The woman, she was a customer service specialist, and she wanted to do this, and so we sat down. And at the end, I kind of asked her, so what's your big takeaway? Like, what are you getting? And she said, you know, what I've seen is, however little I think there is for me to do, there's even less for me to do. Now, she was just talking about the mind, right? I know her. She works hard in her work, right? We got bodies, you need to work them, right? But we think those rules apply to the mind. They don't. It's different physics, right? The physics of the body, of the physical world, that takes work to build shit, right? No problem, we can do that. But we try to take that work ethic into our mind and we just make a mess of it because it's already working perfectly.
It's really funny because I teach this concept about, so my daughter sends me pictures of my grandson, and I laugh at it because he could sit and play in a squat. He could literally sit in the squat and play for an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, find me an adult who can sit in a squat and play.
Yeah.
Without hurting or falling. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like until I take him from play mode and put him into an artificial environment where I force him to sit at a desk, do this, then he loses that natural function of his body. So
right.
I now make him, give him dysfunction in his body. And it's kind of like the same thing I teach him. It's like, wait a minute, what if I can get to you before you start messing yourself up? Like if you apply these principles before we got to the stand-up desk, stretching out through the day and things like that, it makes perfect sense there. But we're always trying to, again, put it into something so I can understand, because I'm supposed to understand everything.
Right. Well, but it's like, I'm supposed to understand it here, right? No, it doesn't matter what you understand here. But there's a lot of, did you ever hear that Calvin Coolidge quote on persistence? He said, it was, nothing will take the place of persistence. Talent will not, people with talent who don't go anywhere are legion. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. When it comes to all matters of creation, persistence alone is omnipotent, right? Well, that's the whole thing, is we so overvalue the intellect as, well, it's got to be this kind of furrowed brow kind of thinking that's going to get me there, that we don't see, hell, I got a supercomputer, right? I'm not going to sit there with my abacus just in case the supercomputer doesn't come up with it. The supercomputer, it's good at its job, right? And so this whole thing about applying it and working it, and that's the abacus. That's abacus thinking. If you only had an abacus, glory be to God and be the best abacus worker you can be, but we've got a supercomputer. We really don't need abacuses to do that, right? Now our intellect does a lot of other things really well, right? It's got its value. It's a shitty navigational tool, and it's kind of shitty for understanding, for insight, because all it can do is compare concepts, right? So you've mentioned a few times concepts. So one model of the mind, and this just is that there is a conceptual mind, which is the mind that thinks in terms of concepts and ideas and things like that. And there is the deeper mind, the universal mind, the big mind, which is that wisdom. It's just that pure energy before it's pure potential. Nothing's come out of it yet, but everything will come from it. Yeah. And that pretty much anytime we get stuck, we're actually not stuck with a life issue, we're stuck in our conceptual mind. We're stuck in that part of our mind that needs it to make sense conceptually. Whereas if we fall out of our conceptual mind and into this big mind, which is always just there, well then we either know or we know that we don't know, but it's not a problem. And now we're flowing. And we can dip in and out of the conceptual mind. Like if we didn't have a conceptual mind, we couldn't build stuff, we couldn't invent stuff, we couldn't do stuff. It's not like we shouldn't have one. But we live 24/7 in it. And I don't know the reality of how we're designed, but it seems to me we're probably designed to live about 22 hours in the big mind and dip in and out of the conceptual mind every couple hours a day, right?
That would make more sense.
Right? Same way as, we're designed to have that stress response so we can get super strong and super sharp when we need to be, but not to live in it, right?
It's like protection levels. We used to have, protection levels in the military.
Yeah.
The more severe you get, the limited amount of time you can sustain it.
Right.
So in your most best defensive system for a post or a base, when you're at every post being filled, every position being filled, every man being on the ground, woman being on the ground, every full defense, you can only sustain that for so many days before you have to come back down, because just the intensity of it is just too much. So this is very much so a very good way of looking at it, which is why I like using fitness as a metaphor, because you're right. Most people we're just trying to get people to take 5 minutes of mindfulness a day.
Yeah.
There are businesses that have made millions of dollars just trying to get people on 5 minutes.
Yeah.
When in all actuality, you probably should have been there 22 hours.
Right, but it is the funny thing. It's like people try and, and they kind of feel proud. Like I meditated half an hour today. And it's like, well, what about the other 23 and a half hours, man?
Yeah. That I told the guy the other day, he said, okay. He said, help me with this. He said, sometimes it comes down to 6 hours sleep or that 1 hour workout.
do I go down to 5 hours sleep and do that 1 hour workout like you're saying? I said, well, okay, well, let's step back a little bit. You said 5 hours of sleep.
Mhm.
And you said 1 hour workout. Let's put them together. That's 6 hours. Let's say 6 hours sleep in one, that's 7 hours. What were you doing with the
The
rest
other
of
17?
the day? And he said, oh, well, watch TV. I was like, so you mean to tell me you were going to risk one of these just so TV could be like, no, that doesn't matter.
Now let me ask you though, how often when you tell somebody that does their behavior change over long term?
Which part?
Like how many guys that you would tell that to would stop watching TV and start working out more?
I don't know. Yeah.
See, I'm betting low. I'm betting the under, right? Here's why. Because you're right, but it doesn't matter. Because they don't see. See, this is the problem with any prescription. I mean, we can all follow a prescription for 30-day supply, 60-day supply, 90-day exercise program. Anyone can do that if they care at all, right? But everything I hear you talk about is you want to change people's fundamental understanding, approach to the body. That's only going to happen when they're in tune, when they're tuned into it. So it's teaching them, not your voice in their head, not your prescription or Tony Horton's prescription or whoever's prescription they're trying to follow. Their body's telling them, hey, dude, we need to go for a walk. We need to go for a run. We need some sleep. We need some food. We need better food. We need to maybe not drink quite so much tomorrow. We need, that is real time. It's talking to us all the time. But again, nobody looks here. Everyone looks to you. And the problem is, no matter how good you are, unless you're with them 24/7, first off, it's going to be a little off because it's your wisdom, not theirs. But second off, it's going to be off the rest of the time. But if they start getting this, you're done. Then you're just kind of nudging them a little when they get out of lane, like you said, because balancing the thing. I loved that. Yeah. And the problem is, like what you're up against is they want that too.
Yeah.
Right? Because they think that's the solution. They don't think they've got a relationship with their own wisdom or a body's wisdom. They don't think that's a thing, or if it sounds hard. Or just tell me what to do. I mean, actually, worst coaching session I ever did. I have it on the top of my Mount Everest of crappy coaching sessions I ever did. Right? I got a chance to sit down with one of the wealthiest women on earth. And that was the problem, is in my mind, she wasn't just a human. She was one of the wealthiest women on earth. And she'd read Inside Out Revolution, and she'd loved it, which is why I got a call. And I'm like, this is going to be amazing. Oh my God. And so I go in, and she got so upset because I wouldn't tell her what to do, because I wouldn't give her a prescription, because I wouldn't solve her problem. And at one point she actually screamed at me, just tell me what to fucking do and I will fucking do it. And I did genuinely just get a little scared, and I said, fire me. Right, and it was funny because she settled down, I calmed down, I did leave. I called Nina immediately in the car and going, oh God, oh God, oh God.
It's over.
Now, interestingly, a couple years later, she called me and we actually met up again and actually had a very nice relationship. We talked and good things came. So there was something there that she got underneath it all. But I got caught up because I was now in my brain's little conditioning, not upstream, right? Which happens, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I don't know, I should be telling her what to do, but I don't know what to, because that's the thing. When we're in it, right? You're hot when you're hot, you're not when you're not, right? There's no point in even worrying about that. That's going to happen. But then you pop out. You pop back you come back to yourself. I don't know how you would describe that, but where you're where the hell have I been? Right?
Well, I think So I've had similar situations, and with getting a call from a director or manager like, hey, tomorrow you got this person, they're this famous singer, or, and I'm like, I don't care, what's their body fat percentage? Like, I don't care about who they are. Just,
Well, I should ask that next time. Yeah, I don't care about what your bank balance. What's your body fat percentage?
But what's funny is those pressures come on, and because of all that pressure, I had begun to adjust certain behaviors I've had,
Yeah.
which makes the the interaction with the client off, because I'm not my genuine self. I'm self from pressures put on me from the director saying who it was and this. And I remember one time saying, the reason things go bad is because I was sometimes getting in my head of thinking, oh, this is only about benefiting this person. I have nothing else to gain. I'm this great health strategist. And no, it was showing me that you still have a conditioning in your head. And that interaction, whether she decides to train with me for 12 weeks or not, was simply for me to get out of my own head of thinking there's a difference in human beings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when it was like,
Yeah.
so every time, now it's like, no, this interaction, what am I supposed to conclude out of this with what I understand?
Yeah.
Because it's very, in my opinion, arrogant to think when I come into contact with somebody that the only reason I'm in contact with them is for them to learn from me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of shitty thinking.
Yeah.
Rather than what is this going to be? What is this interaction going to be good for whoever?
Yeah.
And I think it's probably part of the reason of why you say she didn't get anything the first time, because you were in your head the first time.
Now, do you see that understanding that you have comes from your wisdom? Right? It's not something you were taught.
Yeah, I do now.
Yeah.
Talking about it within the last 2 days, yes. I do now.
Yeah.
But before, I probably would have put it somewhere.
Right.
So the environment, again, being created for me to sort through that, I get it.
See, that's the gorgeousness of this, is it's been there your whole life, right? It's just we attribute it to everything else, right? We attribute it to a great coach. We attribute it to, I had a good meal that day. I had a good night's sleep. I got lucky.
Vitamins are clicking in.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And yet, no, it can happen in the shittiest circumstances just as easily as in the best.
Yeah, that's true statement.
So, okay. Where does pressure come from?
Pressure, in my opinion, can come from a many of things, and I think it solely depends. Pressure only depends on what your end goal is. So, let's take for instance a great team and a bad team. Pressure for the great team is they have to win them all. Pressure for the bad team, they just got to win one. And so it's self-inflicted, I guess, depending on what you want your desired outcome to be. It's external. Well, no, it's internal.
Well, yeah.
No, it's internal.
Yeah.
No, let's go. It's internal. It's all placed on you yourself.
Right. And see, now, if we can simplify it down even further, right? Because so again, it's not really sequential like I'm about to draw it, but thought has a feeling to it, right? So if this is like the FX department, right? That's the consciousness bit, right? And so it brings that thought to life, and it's like, oh my God, yeah, shit. What if we lose this game, and we've got to win this game, and what if I get this client, and what if I don't impress this client, and I can have 1,000 different thoughts, but they're all made of thought. Right? I can make 1,000 different things with Play-Doh, it's still Play-Doh. Right? There's no difference fundamentally between a Play-Doh lion and a Play-Doh baby. Right? So, pressure is made of thought. it is 100% independent of circumstance. Because I can be, and I'm going to guess here, but you kind of have intimated this, you could be in a firefight not feeling pressure, you can be driving home from here feeling pressure. You can be driving home from here not feeling pressure, you can feel a lot of pressure in a firefight, right? It's independent of circumstance. Now, to my mind, and literally to my mind, like I am, this is an ongoing, I keep seeing more about this for myself, that changes everything. Because now the idea of avoiding a high pressure situation or seeking out a high pressure situation makes no sense if there's no such thing as a high pressure situation.
It's just the thought of it being high pressure. And that's in my mind, that's actually true, and I know it to be true because after you've been shot at or bombed at a couple times, you really start to lessen your fear of it because it's happened before. You've been through it. And yesterday driving home was the first time I had cracked that egg, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, tapped into that, and that was more pressure than the last deployment, if I think about it for real.
Yeah.
Because I had some kind of reference of what a deployment was supposed to yield or what it was
Yeah.
supposed to look like. But I had nothing with what you gave me yesterday, just a oh shit moment, you know?
Yeah.
So I can definitely understand that. That makes perfect sense now that it's the same.
You know, so it's like when I understand this, like I get this, forget understand. I get this to a point, right? So it almost never looks to me like a situation is stressful or pressure. So I get it that far. But it looks to me like there are certain thoughts that are going to make me feel pressure, and I try to avoid them. Now, I think that's a little nutty of me. Like I think that just shows I don't really get this deep enough. But I don't care, right? So, like Annette was saying the other day, you know, we've had this conversation before. I don't want to know anything about my clients before I meet them, in an ideal world, because I think. And I get into my brain spin, and it doesn't help. Now, sometimes it's unavoidable, and I'm pretty good at going upstream anyways, right? But I'd rather just not know, right? That's like that's why you have people who have all these, like athletes who have these tricks, like they use mind tricks to kind of trick themselves, and like as a stopgap. Like as long as it looks to you like it has something to do with that, sure. Yeah. I was going to say, I think of it like the 5-second rule. Do you guys have that? If you drop it, but it's within 5 seconds, it's fine, right? It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like I've got like a 5-minute rule. If I can fix it up from the outside in 5 minutes, fine. Yeah. If I can cut the tree down in 5 minutes, I won't worry about getting a higher view. Yeah. But just most things take more than 5 minutes, and then I kind of know, okay. I just need to find higher ground.
Find higher ground.
And so here's where I kind of want to wrap the morning session with. Okay. How do you find higher ground on the inside? And I'm not asking for a pat answer, take that one to lunch. Yeah. And let's see what you see. I'm going to take it to lunch for me, see what I see, and let's talk about it when we get back. Okay. Cool? Anything else you want to ask me for now before we break?
No, I think we got it. I mean, I definitely understand this because it's carbohydrate. A carb is a carb is a carb, but most people say carbs are bad, but carbs is your source of energy. It depends on which type, so it's the same. Thoughts of happiness and thoughts of pressure are thoughts.
Yeah.
The end.
They're not here, but they liked that. All right, my friend. I will. Why don't we just come back at 2? We'll just pick straight back up.
Okay.
That'll be fine.
Cool.
All right, my friend. So my most surreal Hollywood moment, like when I came out here, was actually, it was on his when you used to live on, off Franklin, up in the hills, and I was parked on his hill waiting because I was gonna go meet him, and I was early, so I was reading in the car, and this girl starts walking down the street towards me and starts stripping. And I'm like, I'm cute, right?
I'm not that
But I'm not
cute.
that cute. Right, and I'm like, what the hell? And suddenly I realize they're doing a guerrilla porno shoot on the street. So like I look around my car and there's camera and they're doing this whole thing. And I'm like, wow, I am not in London anymore.
Yeah, I walked right into this. Yeah.
So this is only like a close second for me in weird ass shit with cameras. But that said, so what sort of came up over the break? Like anything kind of occur to you just sitting with that idea of
What if something wasn't? Yes, absolutely. I thought a lot. And it's funny, you said the rabbit hole.
yeah.
It was the first thing. It was there, jump in it, obviously. And just started thinking back, and it was everything that, quote unquote, we're told makes us, parents, things like that. I think nothing alike. It's not a perspective, it's not an insight, it's not anything me and my parents agree on as it pertains to humanity or so, people I've served under wouldn't think the same. I've always found myself just at odds with those people, and not having common perspectives with siblings and cousins makes you feel like you're just out there on that ledge alone, and that's pretty much where it stems from. Or having an idea and a concept, people say, that's just too big. Don't, come down, come back. You're too far in the clouds with your thinking, And that's when I started thinking it was wrong, obviously. So maybe I should just play the game and just follow. There's a lot of times I've been in situations and I'm like, you just go, because if I say something, I'm going to create the rocking of the boat, and because I don't see it this way. Very few times have I had the opportunity to just kind of explode, and that's in training now, or when I'm creating my own, yes. But again, even trainers now, it's like, man, I would never think of doing that. I don't know, just random shit that comes through my head, and it seems to work for the people that I'm dealing with. So I think that's what it is, just being like the look. What's my you think like that? Or, finding joy in something that I, wasn't supposed to find joy in, just walking down the street. Just because I remember a time I couldn't just walk down the street. So I think that's where it came from. Just so many people over time saying, that's dumb, that's too much, or having to lower down or having to back off my perspectives and couldn't go full force on them. Can't speak about certain things too long without it creating tension for people. And I'm like, I just want to have a discussion. Whether it's about the glass ceiling of women in the workplace, whether it's about, interracial marriage, whatever. I just want to have a conversation and see what I can gain from it. And a lot of people weren't willing to do that, which made me feel like obviously something must be wrong with me, because everybody else thinks like this, which is probably not true, but at least in my mind it was.
So, like, the ugly duckling.
Yeah.
That's that.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And it turns out, right, not such an ugly duckling, just a swan in a pool of ducks. Right? It's the other metaphor that the one I love is, there's a Nietzsche quote: "Those who danced were thought insane by those who could not hear the music." Like, I get why people think you're nuts, or me, I'm nuts, or anyone is nuts who's doing something outside of the normal way of doing it.
Yeah.
But I would never want to give up the music so they don't
Just
think I'm nuts.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
Right? So you're at some level, you've always been aware of the music in you.
Yeah.
Right? And you know how to dance to it. Like, you know how to let it take you over and do your thing. All greatness and performance I have ever seen in my life comes from that. It is sometimes crafted with a lot of skill and a lot of technique, sometimes not, sometimes it's just raw.
Yeah.
But there is no great performance without that. Like it's what they call the X factor.
Yeah.
Right? That's the X factor, that they're actually, the music's actually coming through them, that energy is actually coming through them, that aliveness, that true self, that core, that thing that is in us before our conditioning, beyond our conditioning. It doesn't negate the conditioning. It doesn't mean we'll always be comfortable, because the conditioning
Yeah,
is
because-
what makes us feel uncomfortable. The thought, right? We're like, we've got all these thoughts in our head that it should be like this.
Yeah. Should fit into a certain
Right,
perspective. but
absolutely.
Yeah.
And as long as that looks real or important, we'll feel it, right? It'll feel uncomfortable. But that's a moving target, right? Like if it's like that's a paper wall, right? Not a real wall, or sugar glass, like when they do stunts.
Yeah.
Like it looks like glass, it looks solid,
Until
but
you touch
actually
it.
you can
Yeah.
knock right through it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the nature of thought. It's gossamer. It looks like a real edge or a real wall, but it doesn't, even the smallest push against it, well, maybe not the smallest, but you don't have to push that hard
Yeah.
for it to fall apart. And then you just are through to the other side. And then there'll be another one. Like it's not like there really is another side where you never think that kind of stuff
That kind
again.
of
I wish
stuff.
there was, kind of, but I've never seen it. But there's whole bits of it that get left behind, right? Like there's already you know about Santa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I just thought I should check. You know, it's like, yeah, he lives at the North Pole, right? No, but
Yeah, he does.
Right. It's like that's one that looked really real to us till it didn't.
Yeah.
Right? Well, everything's like Santa. Right? Everything looks really real to us until it doesn't. And as long as it looks real to you, you have to take it into account. As long as you think, hey, if other people don't like me, I'm going to be alone, and that's going to, then you've got no choice really than to conform. Right? You could not conform, but it would take pure will. It would be exhausting.
To drive through
Because,
that. Yeah.
because as far as you can see, you really are in trouble if you do this. Right? I was using the analogy with those guys yesterday that if you think you don't have a parachute and you're falling out of an airplane, and I tell you, don't be scared, you go, fuck off, right?
As you continue following.
But if you realize partway down you do have a parachute, and I tell you, don't be scared, you're like, okay. Still takes a little bit of will, but not that much.
Because you know the parachute.
Right.
Yeah.
So part of what I'm pointing to is we've all got a built-in parachute, right? We've got this thing, wisdom in the moment, a deeper intelligence in the moment, a responsive intelligence in the moment, a guiding intelligence in the moment. I don't have one great way of talking about it that sees us through. And we're used to only relying on it when we have to, which is why you kind of recognize it from combat and maybe from sport. But actually, it can see you through everything, right? There's always music playing. And when you hear it, you can dance with it. You can be in harmony with it. But it's in you. Other people can't hear what you hear. So they may well look at you and wonder what the hell you're doing. Right? Because like they literally don't hear the music. Doesn't make you nuts. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means you're listening to something different. They're listening to their conditioning, and you're listening to K-God 101. Like, I don't know what that is,
Yeah.
but you're listening to a different station.
It's so funny because I read a book. I want to say it was, I don't remember what it is, but he was teaching this concept of, he said, so let's say you call your wife.
Yeah.
And she goes, Michael, I can't talk right now. Click and hangs up real quick. He says, the thought goes, what is she doing? Well, why can't she talk to me? I'm the most important person in life. Why can't she talk to me? And you call back again, it goes straight to voicemail. And then you text her and she's not calling. He says, so about an hour of this, now she's cheating. You know, and you're ready, you know, you're gonna go home and you're gonna just nip this in the bud as soon as you get home. And on your drive home, you're thinking back years of, oh yeah, that one night and it here, and you create this whole thing, and you walk into the house and you fix it. You've prepared yourself, how you're gonna tell the kids the divorce is coming, you've built all this up. And you walk in the house and next thing you know, they go, surprise! Because she's throwing you a surprise party about something she remembered. And then that same thought that said this was your cheating wife now says she's the best wife in the world. And he says, take that person and put him in your driver's seat. If you were driving and I was saying to you, Michael, she's cheating on you. You shouldn't do this, she's cheating on you. And you listen to me and then we walk into the house together and it's a surprise birthday party. When you pick me up tomorrow and I tell you something, you're not going to listen to me because I was wrong. He said, but we don't do that with our own minds. And so I had begun to sit those thoughts over in the passenger seat. So that's why I say I'm crazy, because I'll drive and talk to myself like, no, I'm not listening to that one. That's the passenger Rob. Right. The driver Rob is going to stay on track, you know, not the passenger Rob. And that was when I realized that from what you were saying, what I caught in the book was just so many things go through my head.
See, but that is the single most normal part of being human that there is.
Really?
Really. Literally, I promise you. Right? I every fucker out there. It's obvious with the ones out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yes. Especially that one talking over here on the corner.
I know, Bob the homeless guy. Right? I made him famous. Right? But that's all it is. Right? When you get a head full of noise, everything is like doubtful and tentative and oh God, what about this and what about this? And when it quiets down, we're all good. We'll do really well. The trick is we think there's something to why our head is full when it's full, or what it's full of. Like we think, well, if my head was full of more positive thoughts, or if my head was full of saner thoughts, or no, if your head is full, there's no bandwidth for this music to come through. Right? So here, this is just an illustration. It's like this. I don't think this is really exactly how the mind works, but it's kind of like this. So we have a certain amount of bandwidth or headspace, right? And there are basically two different things that fill it up, right? There's all our let's say that's a brain, right? So there's all the kind of thoughts that spin out of our brain, right? And that's just all our memories and imaginings and shit, she's cheating on me, and God, remember that time on the playground, and that's all that noise. And when that's spinning, when like that's filling up all the space, there's just no room for this other thing, this I'll just call it wisdom. Right? There's no room for it to come in. There's no room for that music. Like there's 6 stations playing at once, and I can't hear mine. I can't hear that when that's happening. It wouldn't matter if every one of these thoughts was a positive one. It still is cutting me off from wisdom. I might feel better, because I might be thinking, oh, she's throwing me a surprise party. And then I go home and she's cheating on me. Right?
True.
It's like I feel great, doesn't mean it's any more true. Right? So it isn't about what you think. It's that when our heads are full of our own crazy, good crazy or bad crazy, we're not available to this deeper mind, this deeper wisdom, this deeper part of ourselves. And this is always talking, playing music, whatever the metaphor is, right? This is always on. Has been from the moment you were born, if not before. Will be to the moment you die, if not after. I can't vouch for the before. And if you start to see that, you start to, this gets devalued in a really good way. Right? You stop being inclined to believe everything you think, or even worry that much about what you happen to be thinking. Right? Like in the TED Talk, I used the example of Bob the homeless guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just going off in your head. Oh my God, politics, women, men, race, right? And it's like, sometimes it sounds almost sane, right? And you go, oh, good point. Yeah, tell me more, right? But then you're lost, because now you're totally, you got your bandwidth totally filled up.
Yeah.
And there's just no headspace for this wisdom. And the wisdom comes with a kind of an expansive feeling. Right? Like it's that, it's just bigger.
Yeah.
You know that feeling? Yeah.
Some volume attached to it. You could feel either whether it's the growth or whether it's just the understanding a new concept. You know when you pick that voice or picked it right.
Yeah.
It may not show up monetarily, but it's a couple times that you can look at somebody and listening to the voice to give them something or make a shift or something, and they respond back with just a smile. That was I get it.
Yeah. So, in a way, what I'm saying is, you can actually rely on that 100% of the time. Not 20, not 60, not 50-50. Like if I was going to put a bet on somebody who's following thought and head versus wisdom, right? If I had to bet, I'm going to put 100% of my money on wisdom. Because even though, people sometimes will say, yeah, but sometimes my thoughts turn out to be true. And I go, well, yeah, like a stopped clock is right twice a day. Right? It's like, that doesn't prove anything.
Yeah. A fact. Yeah. I like that. I like that picture. So then how do we close down that headspace?
So like, you ever been somewhere that when you first got there, it was unbearably noisy?
Mm-hmm.
And then after you've been there for a while, you kind of stopped noticing the noise?
Yeah.
Because you kind of knew it wasn't anything you had to pay attention to?
Yeah, you become acclimated to it, or
Right. Well,
or desensitized, maybe.
Yeah, it's desensitized, but it's desensitized in the good sense of the word.
Okay.
Right? It's not desensitized as in, oh, it's just the bombs, right? It's desensitized in the sense that, oh yeah, that's not aimed at us. We don't have to worry about that. Or like, when Nina and I moved into a place in Tarzana, and we loved it, was our tree house in the woods. And the first night we go in there, and we go up to the bedroom, what the hell? And there was a street light right outside the bedroom window that was broken. And we were mad. Like, we were going to sue the city. We were going to sue the guy who sold us the house. We were like, this is unbearable. How are we've been made the biggest mistake of our lives and all this. And like within a week, I'd forgotten about it. And then I'd hear it again. And I'd be like, oh, wait, I forgot to sue them. Not like I've always done that. But Like, I forgot to be mad. Hang on. And then like about 2 years later, I noticed one day, it wasn't making that noise anymore. And at some point, they'd replace it. But I have no idea when, because I'd stopped noticing it long before. That's how this works. Once you really see, it's just Bob the homeless guy. It's just noise in head. It's just my conditioning. Whatever. Your brain already knows how to block out background noise. It already knows, it automatically filters things that aren't important. It's just that we think that's important. Or parts of it are important, or understanding it is important, or knowing where it came from is important, or overcoming it is important. And actually, it is utterly unimportant. It's there when it's there. I mean, sometimes it's not that loud, right? Sometimes it gets quiet anyways. But it's like, I'm trying to think of like the most annoying song that gets stuck in your head.
Any of them.
Any of them.
If it's an annoying song and somebody plays it, you're cursing them out because they played it because it's stuck in your head now.
What's the one for the Lego movie? Like the, anyways.
The Lion King was mine. It's Hakuna Matata. And somebody says it once, and it's just, you're singing it all day long. Right. It's like, get it out of my head.
Like, that will happen, right? You're gonna get some thoughts stuck in your head for a while, right? And they're gonna drive you a little nuts while they're there. But they do fall out, right? Like at some point, you know, you just, it falls out of your head, and it's not there. You don't have to do anything about it. In fact, if you try to get that song out of your head, it's in there for
even long. I don't. It's. I get it. I think I get it. Well, I think here's something that happened. That's why I keep looking at this thing. So, I spoke at a conference last week, and immediately when me and Lori got in the car and we started driving, she says, "Are you okay?" And I go, "No." Sure, this is no joke. Like, when I finished speaking and had got in the car and we were leaving the venue, I began to get nervous as if I was the nervousness of going to speak. Mm-hmm. I began to sweat. We literally had to pull over. I had to change my T-shirt. Yeah. And I kept these thoughts in my head, you're going to bomb this. And that's what I drove home to. It lasted the 2.5 hours drive home of how bad I was going to bomb at this speech. And that I just did. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and she was like, wait, you've already done it. I was like, I know, but I'm still scared to do it. Yeah. She was like, that doesn't make any sense. I was like, I know, but it's what's happening. So I called my coach. I was like, hey, man, I'm nervous as shit right now. And I spoke 4 hours ago. And he was like, ooh.
There's something wrong with you.
And he was like, how far around the rabbit hole you want to go with this one? And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, how far you want to go? He's like, yeah, I can't explain it. You know, it's happening. He was like, but does it matter? And I was just like, yeah, it matters. Or at least, you know.
I'll tell you one better. I can explain it.
Oh, okay.
Actually, and this actually explains it, right? Not, maybe I might need to amend this a little bit. All right. The book that, I don't know how far you got in the book, but the kind of, in the Inside Out Revolution, it's the one thing you need to know to change your life forever. Mm-hmm. The one thing is that we live in an experience of thought in the moment, but we think we live in an experience of circumstances, of the world, of our life. Now, if we really did live in a world of circumstances where what is happening creates or impacts our feeling, then it would make no sense for you to be nervous after you've done an event, right? That would just seem kind of nuts.
Yeah, it seemed crazy.
Right. Yeah. But since we actually live in the feeling of the experience of thought in the moment, it doesn't matter when that thought happens. It's what we think, feel now that's our experience now. So it wouldn't have mattered. Now, it's sort of more habitual to have those thoughts before an event and feel nervous. But the problem with that is we think it's the event. The fact that you had that experience after the event shows you it can't be the event that makes people nervous. Because if it worked that way around, then you would have been nervous before. Not after.
Wow. That's crazy.
Isn't it?
So it's like,
I mean, now it almost makes life seem fake. Like, wait, I'm just walking around in my thoughts all the time rather than the experience.
Well, rather than circumstance.
Circumstance.
No, absolutely. Right, and it is, like that's the thing. So the reason the book's called The Inside Out Revolution, right, it isn't hype. Like that, this is revolutionary. This is 180 degrees the opposite of what we have all been brought up
And taught.
and taught. Right? And yet, everyone who sees it gets it at some level, once they get over
The shock.
And I'll, honestly, one of the ways that I know somebody's really seeing it, I have what I call the HFMOG test, right? Which is if I'm talking to somebody about this and they're not going, holy fucking mother of God, they're not seeing it.
They're not seeing
the fact that you are means you're actually seeing it.
What's even crazier is calling that coach and asking him, not knowing and sitting here today, not knowing that experience and this experience would tie that up, because it's the first time it's ever happened, but it's been on rotate. I've went back and listened to myself to see if I made mistakes. I was trying to map it, and it just was no rationale behind it.
No, it is arbitrary.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. We think it's all so linear and logical.
Yeah.
Well, of course, this, and therefore this, and then this. And so we make up the story to make sense of it. But if you know that it's just, I'm feeling thought. And I'm not feeling old thought. I'm feeling whatever I'm thinking right now. Not like a particular thought, but just a thought.
Just thought.
A whole category. Like that's what we're living in. It's like, you ever have a dream that's like so vivid you wake up and you're not quite sure?
If you were dreaming or not, yeah. Absolutely.
Our whole life is that. Right? That's the freaking truth of life.
Wow.
It's at the heart of every spiritual teaching, every religious teaching.
Yeah. I don't know what to do with that though.
You know, I kind of think the best thing to do with it is nothing. Like let it sink in over time. Because it turns out, I've got this whole category of things that I call good news that sounds like bad news. Right? Mm-hmm. And it like, oh, the entire basis of your life is just wrong. That sounds like bad news.
Yeah.
Right? It turns out to be the best news in the world. Because it means that the very real things you've been wrestling with, learning to master, learning to overcome, don't exist outside of your own imagination. The fears, the doubts, the questions, they're ephemeral, they come and go with thought. They're not part of the world, which means you can walk in the world regardless of what happens to be going on in your head and body at that time. You don't have to be in an optimal performance state to perform optimally.
Wow. Okay. You keep talking, I'm done. I'm sorry, like, because so much energy, so much energy has been devoted of overcoming these things. I sat in PTSD counseling, let's just take that one for instance. First we go through the sleep therapy because you have the nightmares or, quote unquote, or it had got so bad that literally we were aggravated because we were doing small, like a card game in a Humvee. We're playing card games and they do start bombing us. And you were screaming like, fuck, just leave us alone. We just want to play cards. Like we just want a piece of saneness. And we're no longer moving at gunshots. And it was just like what it was. But when we got back, all the energy that we used, the countless hours of trying to layer and break this stuff down to get some type of clarification on it, it was just like the only way
so-called graduated from the program, it was just like saying, fuck it. Like, okay, I don't know why it was easier then to get away with, but I mean, everything I've ever done has just been trying to overcome some type of conditioning. And it makes me nervous if you say it don't matter. Because then what have I been doing?
So I'll tell you what somebody told me when I saw it and freaked the first time. I don't know if it'll be helpful to you, but it was to me. He said, look, if you've been walking around in a dark room your whole life and you've knocked over stuff left, right, and center, and then the lights come on, and you look around at the mess you've made, you can either get really worked up about everything that got knocked down and broken, or you can be grateful for the light.
That's where you're looking.
I've got a colleague, Kathy Casey, who teaches this in prisons, has done it for 30 years, and I've gone in and worked with her. And one of the things that comes up constantly, she said it's probably the most common thing people say is, if I'd known this before, I wouldn't have
Done A or B.
killed this person, done that. And do you know what Kathy's response is? And it's interesting because when I first heard it, I was horrified, and then I saw that actually it was
So
the
you
only
probably
sane
will do
response.
it, yeah.
It was, oh well. If it hadn't looked real to you, you wouldn't have done it.
But it
If
did.
it doesn't look so real to you now, you'll do different. Like that's what I mean by being grateful for the light. It's like, oh, this is going to get so much easier from here because I can see better. I can see what's really going on more of the time. So I don't have to, it's like, I can't remember, do you have kids?
Yeah, 23 and 17.
Okay, so when they were little, did they ever like monsters under the bed or anything like that?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
played around, yeah.
So, like, you knew they weren't real monsters, right? As
Yeah.
the dad.
Yeah.
But, so like, you saw them going through it, you kind of maybe felt for them, but you also kind of probably messed with them a little.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, make them scared.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of that. Like you've just woken up to the grown-up version of life and robbed the 40-year-old kid who still believed there were monsters under the bed. Like just is beginning to see maybe there aren't. Maybe it doesn't work that way. Now, you didn't think less of your kid for thinking that, did you?
No.
No. Well, you don't have to think less of Rob up until this point for thinking that. Like, how was he supposed to know? Everyone was telling him that was true.
Everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah. It's weird. It's crazy because I hear what you're saying, but it's spinning, man.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It's spinning like, yeah. Wow. Okay.
Cup of tea.
No, I'm like, Lynn, where's Lynn? Pull me out, pull me out. Wow. Man. You said this was going to be fun, Michael. God, yeah. I got the email. You said fun. I got it.
It's fun and interesting.
Yeah, okay. Man. I mean, here's what's so hard about it. People have counted on me. And I consider myself, as I layer, there's one fundamental truth that I've been able to exhibit, and this is, again, from the highest I've ever been, being most financially secure, whatever, to the lowest I've ever been without an income. I've always thought about the person next to me. It has never not been a part of who I was. Like, pulling somebody else to cover while I'm going to cover. Or I had a friend when I first joined the military, something was his family and money. So I had enough money for the both of us, so we were splitting my checks together. So I was always thinking about the next, and now it's like, if I've been leading people to include in situations where death was imminent, and I was leading them with this wrong thought pattern, perspective, or concept, it's scary. Like the jeopardizing or...
See, here's how I see that completely differently.
Okay.
Because actually, when lives were on the line, this shit didn't matter, and you were operating on pure.
Okay.
That's the one place where almost everybody I've ever worked with knows this, is when it really matters.
Yeah.
Because somehow when it really matters, we know we have to ignore this. We know we can't get.
That's true.
out of
Okay.
this. It's almost like when we have free time, then we can worry about it, right? So here's mine, not a dramatic one, but just like the one place where I never had my fucked up, depressed, suicidal head was when I coached or taught. Like it just, for whatever reason, I didn't matter. Not in a bad way, just I didn't.
Yeah.
It was the guy in front of me, the person in front of me, the group in front of me. Now, because I didn't understand the inside-out nature of it, I thought, oh, that must be the job I need to do, because that's the place where I feel best, and I feel most myself, and I feel most alive. So my solution was to try and teach and coach 24/7. Which made sense to me, given what I thought it was coming from those gigs, that I could operate that way, and I loved operating that way. I just tried to do that all the time, which isn't sustainable, it turns out.
Yeah.
When I saw that it was nothing to do with coaching and teaching, other than the fact that when I was coaching and teaching, wisdom was coming through me. I wasn't overly concerned with what was going on in my own head. I wasn't overly concerned with Michael. I wasn't overly concerned with how am I doing, right? It didn't seem relevant in that moment. Like, let's get through this, then I can worry about me. I realized, I don't have to obsess about me when I'm not teaching or coaching. I don't have to obsess about me when I'm sitting on my own. I don't have to go in and worry about Michael ever. I can actually open myself up and let this thing come through me anywhere, anytime. Doesn't mean I always do, right? You saw me after the game. But by the same token, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Right? I don't mind it. I don't mind that. It's not a problem.
It's good. It's real good, man. Wow.
Can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
Let's stop. Go for a walk. Right? Let this settle. Go home, have a nice night, don't worry about it. And let's see where you're at when we pick up tomorrow morning. Because seriously, this is it. Right? It's not like, oh, and I've got 12 more concepts for you tomorrow. Right? What we're talking about is the heart of what it is to be free. It's where freedom comes from. It's the only thing that makes it feel like we're not free, is we got it mixed up. And we think this is the real thing that we got to deal with. And we don't see that there's this other part of us that's got us. And then we try to emulate it. We try to act brave, because bravery is what it looks like. We try to act caring, because caring is what it looks like. We try to act compassionate, because compassion is what it looks like. But you don't have to act it when you are it. So just let it settle. And if you want to, and seriously, I'm not that I'm expecting it, but if you come in here tomorrow morning and go, well, I've thought about it, you're completely wrong, and here's why, cool.
No, I can tell you that one bit, yeah.
But that's not what's going to happen.
No.
And let's pick it up tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
All right, my friend. Cool.
Cool.
I'll see you. So I wanted them to see that instinctively as we start to sync up on our ideas, you know,
Absolutely.
we sync up all the way. You know?
If you don't have on a polka dot shirt today, you just didn't tune in.
No, they just weren't here. There's a bunch of them out there. Still, they'll learn. So, how was last night? How was this morning? What kind of stuff's been going on?
Oh, went to bed about 6:37.
Yeah.
Went to work out and just couldn't. Just mentally tired. You know, running through the brain. Images flashing. You know, the replay of what I've done in conditioning. You know, even though they may have had a good result, how much more it could have been. And really, it caused me to put a hold on everything. I was telling somebody earlier, from my coaches to the team I have supporting me when I speak, it's like, everybody just hold on.
Yeah.
Don't make any moves. And they're in complete panic, obviously because they haven't seen the information.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, something has to change.
Yeah.
You know, because the whole business model is directed on wisdom through me to them.
Right.
And it has to shift now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even feel comfortable making it, putting myself in the equation other than just helping steer. And so woke up like 3 a.m. and that's what's been spinning ever since then. So, but good times. Was telling David I initially thought I would come in, do the sessions, and then go back and work.
Yeah.
And then I just changed it. It's like, no, all I want to do is just be in the moment.
Yeah.
Take it for what it's worth, learn what I'm supposed to learn, and to be enlightened as I'm supposed to be enlightened, and then go. So looking forward to the day, and really looking forward to the Q&A portion and going.
Cool. All right. Well, so look, let's actually, before I flip, because in a bit I'll go to a blank page and we can write on it. But I was thinking about this. Actually, I'll just for them, I'll talk about it down here. But like, so I got to know a Zen master really well.
Okay.
Like, guy used to have be Zen Center in LA, and then became Zen Center in Salt Lake City. And when I met him, he's like a true American Zen master. Like, he rolled up on a Harley, black T-shirt, like, you know, and that's how I meet, you know, leathers. And so the first time I meet him, that's him. And then he takes us back to the Zen Center, and there are floor-to-ceiling paintings of him in saffron robes, because he's the third lineage of the, you know, so just like this archetypal American Zen master. Yeah. And I asked him about this thing I'd always heard about in Zen called transmission. You ever come across stories about transmission in Zen?
Little, very.
Okay,
very
so
little,
so the basic story is always like somehow the master transmits the Dharma to the student, and the student becomes enlightened. And I'm like, how does that work? Right? And I did wait till the third date before I asked him. Like, you know, I kind of got to know him a bit, but then I was like, that was the question I wanted to know. And I love the way he explained it. He said, there is something awake in me that is asleep in most people. And he said, when they spend time with me, it wakes up. And they feel it, and they enjoy that. And in his tradition, through meditation and practice and guru, you know, spending time with him, that thing stays awake longer.
Yeah.
And if at a certain point, by grace, because it doesn't happen to everyone, that thing that is fully awake in him fully awakens in the student, then transmission is said to have taken place, even though at no point did anything go from him to the student. That's that.
Yeah.
That's that. Just another tradition, another model, but the same truth.
I love it.
So let's 1, 2, 3, 4.
You know, it's while you flip through that, I can tell you the story. But did you? I don't know if you had it in London, but you remember the Flintstones?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you remember Bam Bam, the son? He was super strong.
Yeah.
He could lift a car. He could do anything. But when he was young or when he was a baby, he was always picking up the wrong things, or he was always doing something that causes such an inconvenience to the family
Right.
because he didn't know how to use that strength.
Right.
And then the Flintstones had the when he became a teenager,
Right.
and he had learned how to use the strength, and he could lift up the car for his dad to change the tire,
Right.
or if he could do, and it was kind of like that. Like, I guess this has been in here for a while.
Yeah.
But I've been the kid understanding it and not knowing how to use it.
Yeah.
I can say spending this time is waking up the consciousness of learning how to use it, but I still feel like, okay, I got it now. What I do with it? I got it.
And the funny thing is, like, to my way of thinking, it's not just, it's been in there for a while. It comes with the incarnation.
With the
Right, like it's just,
it's been there for 40 years.
Right, and there are
basically,
people who look. There are people who get all the way through their life and they'll never wake
know
up to it. And what a shame.
Yeah.
But like, what's cool about what you're saying, it's what I call the learning curve, right? Is once you start to see it, there's a learning curve, and you're gonna inconvenience your parents, right? You're gonna lift the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You're gonna do all that. But that's natural. That's a natural part of the learning curve, and then it becomes more obvious, and you start to see it more, and it gets easier, and then you're a teenager, and you're doing great, and then you grow. I mean, like, it is.
Yeah.
That's actually a great metaphor, because it takes the pressure off being awesome.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I'm going to probably fuck this up left, right, and center. Let's go. When do we start? Right? So what would be great from today?
We talked about if we could just in simple forms, like, from just hearing how this information could be beneficial, useful, how not just with our thoughts, but in everything, in the connection, because I do ultimately want to help.
Yeah.
I do ultimately want transmission to occur. I do want my clients to be able to get that inner connection. And I'm just going to put the and
world.
it's actually it's some terminology changing. You made a huge point with me yesterday when you said I wanted a glass of whiskey. Doesn't make it my responsibility.
Yeah.
So there's some definition and term changes I need to adjust as well, like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a responsibility. That's what makes that thought pressure.
Yeah.
They're not my clients. They're clients. Yeah. They could be yours. They could be David's. They could be Lynn's. They're just clients.
Yeah.
I don't have to possess, or it's not about me.
Yeah.
And that is what these last 3 days is coming off. So what, I may know this, but what I know is of no value if I can't get it into them, or I can't show them, or I can't help assist them with their own enlightenment of it.
Yeah.
So that's really just what I want to. How does this become more useful to the people around me, to the people I come in contact with, to the world?
Yeah. Okay. And I know this sounds a ridiculous question, but all right, let's say we do that. What else?
I don't think what else will matter is because of the peace I get with helping.
Okay.
I've done the things, I do them where you go to the store on the holidays. And again, this only comes from, was the only reason I do this is part of my conditioning, so I'm curious to see how this goes forward. But I remember as a kid when we would put groceries up and we would get the bare necessities first. And then my mom would ask the cashier, how much does that cost?
Yeah.
Because she knew how much money we had. So then we had to pick and choose.
Right.
And I knew the feeling of that leaving the grocery store. And so I go into grocery stores now and I look for that. I look for the kid who asks, Mom, can I have? Mm-hmm. And she says no, and I pull her to the side. I'm like, hey, anything you want in the store, just get it. Mm-hmm. And then we get to the cashier and I pay for it and I leave. And he's like, but what's your name? That's not important.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it about, and I can't do it every day, but it's 1 or 2 here or 3 there, or, a kid that's trying to get into you hear the want from the parents, and I ask the parents, you mind if I talk to him for a minute? And then sit down on the ground and, play and get dirty with the kid for them to like, thank you, and then leave like, hey, what's shit? It's not important. So I think if I get this, I have a genuine fulfillment when I get to help somebody.
Yeah.
There was a young lady who said some stuff to me here, and I don't know her name. I'll see her when we get over to the other side, but
That sounds so final. When we get over to the other side, when we transcend,
you know,
when we pass over.
I know, right? Through the wall. She just had such a great insight, never seeing, that matched what my spirit was saying. So I thanked her tremendously for it, and that's just what I think would be most beneficial today.
Okay.
And again, it could all be wrong, but
Well, no, it's a
just
hell
the
of a
start
great
the
place
day.
to start.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's where it occurs to me to start. And I don't know if it is just a word thing or if it's a... So here's my thing on language, is language has 2 points, two uses, descriptive and creative.
Okay.
So we can create with language, right? That's what we do when we create a picture of a possibility for ourselves, for the world, for others, and we paint it in language, and it's so beautiful that other people get inspired by that and want to be part of it. Language can also simply be descriptive, right? You know, okay, our shirts have sort of polka dots on them. Mine's a little blue, yours a little black, right? You know, it's not creating, it's not designed to create, it's designed to describe. When it comes to truth, the value of language is descriptive, not creative.
It's just describing what the truth is.
Right. And the danger, it's not really dangerous, I don't think, but like the risk of it is we're used to using it to create. So we're used to kind of, and then it's going to be like this, and it'll be like that. And it's, because truth is so hard to, it's intangible, right? So the more cleanly descriptive we can get in our language, the more useful it is, generally speaking, for somebody to see it.
Yeah.
So when I hear words like, and again, I'm sorry that I'm apologizing so much, including that, but like, because if it's just about the word police, it's not going to make a damn bit of difference.
Sure.
Right? But information, concepts. In my mind, that puts it in a category of interchangeable good ideas. Oh, good information. Thanks, I'll think about that. Right? I'll use that. Oh, that's a cool concept. I'll practice that. Whereas, you know, you could say, again, I'll go back to gravity, right? You could say, well, that's information, right? It's information that the Earth actually moves around the sun, not the other way around, that maybe you didn't have. So it's accurate to say it's information, but it's not a concept in the same way. You don't, well, how am I going to use that? Like, how do I, well, let me practice the Earth going around the sun.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, well,
That's a good point.
no. Now, I don't know what your word for it is, and I love the word, the metaphors you're coming up with and the words you're coming up with are so you. Like I was joking with my team. It's like, I don't know why it's never occurred to me to use the metaphor of where you place your snipers for this, right? But it kind of makes sense when you say it, right? So it's got to be your language, but there's a difference between, hey, you might find it helpful to do some push-ups before you go to work in the morning. Yeah. Like, that's information. Like, hey, if you know, if you practice, if you breathe, focus, move, like that is a cool concept. You can practice that. You can get good at that. It will help you. Yeah. Bullets kill people is just true.
Yes.
Right? In other words, it's just a fact.
Yeah.
So what we're dealing in here that makes this conversation a little bit different is we are dealing with spiritual facts. These are things that are just true. And because they're invisible, like they're not tangible, they're not in form, it sometimes takes a little bit more going around the houses for people to see them.
I can totally get it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't see the air But you will know if it ceases to exist.
Right.
If I put you in a room where air
Absolutely.
no longer exists, you would know it. You
Right.
can't see it, you know, and I think that's what this concept, if I think it's been taken for granted for so long,
Yeah.
because I have been able to see my conditioning.
Yeah.
I have been able to look at statistics. That's all made my FX department more real.
Right.
You know, I've seen kids die at 14, 15 years old for gang violence. You know, lucky for me and my brother, we didn't. I've seen, you know, people leave with a team of 75 to go somewhere and not come back with all. And, you know, by God's grace and a blessing, we came back all 75, you know. So it is a concept that, or not a concept, it is a truth that sometimes is taken for granted. Just like you said in the book, we don't look at the sun until days like today.
Yeah.
We're like,
Where to go?
yeah, exactly. Why did the sun leave? Like, it's raining. It's and you're like, but when it was there, I cared nothing about it. I was actually complaining about it because it was too hot.
Yeah.
And now he's my best friend. I wish he would just show up today. You know,
I miss you. Always forgiven.
exactly. And that's what this is. That's what this is. It's like, wow. And it's so simple that it's the hardest thing in the world to do.
Yeah.
It's so simple, it's hard. And I was telling David, what woke me up last night was silence. The Wi-Fi in the room had, I guess, changed off, so it stopped my phone from playing my white noise music that I sleep at night.
Right.
So my white noise music went away.
Yeah.
No TV, nothing else. I sit straight up like, babe, wake up. It's too quiet. Give me some noise. Like, the only way I could sleep is with noise.
Yeah.
No, I gotta, this silence is, that's the white page. That's what I'm supposed to be to. Why am I afraid of it? Why do I add to it? Yeah. And that's kind of like why I came in today. Okay, teach me how this, because I ran from it last night. Yeah. I got up at 3 because it was just too quiet rather than sit in the still of it and see what it was supposed to give me. And I know that comes from, again, the conditioning. So I'm really just trying to go through it enough where the truth becomes what it is to you right now. It's undeniable. Yeah. And it's probably because you've been teaching it or explaining it. But
It's funny because I would actually say it is undeniable to you. The fact that when you question it, you feel like you're questioning it.
Yeah, true.
Is because it's undeniable. Yeah. Right? Now, I love the what you're saying about silence, what you're saying about silence. Because, and this is one of those times where, and I so rarely say trust me, but this is one of those times where I'll say, trust me if you trust me. You will find everything you're looking for there. Like, that is exactly where you want to go. Okay. And that's because that's the higher ground. That is where it all comes from. It's the only place it can come from.
That's true.
Nothing is where everything comes from.
Because sounds are created.
Yeah. And look, we do create in the world. You created Rob, right? And you created a kind of cool guy. I created Michael. I think he's all right.
That's pretty cool.
He has his good days, he has his bad days, But that creation of Rob, that's not you. This creation of Michael, that's not me, right? These are our creations, right? And we're coming together, and that which created Michael and that which created Rob are coming together to talk, right? And that, for me, I call it soul to soul, but like, because it doesn't matter our lives. It doesn't matter our stories, right? We got them. We both got our stories, right? And we'll share them at appropriate times to certain people when it seems like it might be helpful. Mm-hmm. But it's not us. It's our story, right? And yet we spend so much time, or people want to either have their story reinforced and nourished, and I am a good person, aren't I? I am a good person, aren't I? Yeah. Well, you will be if you give me money. Oh, okay, right? Or whatever, right? Or I'm. Actually, let me ask you this, right? Because you said on the first day, and I loved your honesty and your absolute certainty that there's something wrong with you. Yeah. How does that look to you right now? That idea, that concept, that information.
It looks different.
Okay, tell me about it.
It's a terminology change. I'll use the analogy she used when she told me this morning. She said, there's a bunch of flowers. She said, but there are a few that are exotic. And in the midst of beautiful flowers, all beautiful, there's times you see something that stands out. I wouldn't say wrong, I would just say different. That was something I distinctively made a difference because it shapes in conditioning. But I won't say I'm crazy. I will say I'm different though. And I can use that because I know a vast majority of the world don't know this truth.
Yeah.
And so that's what makes me different now, just that I know it. What made me crazy was I didn't know that it was a truth.
Right.
That's what made me crazy.
No,
before.
you're suddenly you're the kid in the Emperor's New Clothes.
Yeah.
Right? Like we don't know what happened to that kid, but I don't think he grew up well. Like it was like, oh
What
my
do I
God,
do?
it's him.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. So no, with that one I don't feel like that, which is a weight. I feel lighter.
Yeah. See, I'm going to say that doesn't sound like a terminology change to me. See, a terminology change is where I go, well, I used to think this was a coffee cup, but now I see that it's a tea mug. Right? That's a terminology change, right? I used to think, I was ugly, but now I think I'm differently beautiful. Right? That's a terminology change, right? Nothing's changed, but you're saying it different. What you're describing, to my mind, is, oh, I thought I was this, I'm not. That was inaccurate. I now can express this more accurately. I now see this more accurately.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the reason I'm harping on it, and I'm doing it with that background sense of, man, I hope this doesn't become the language police in his head, where he just starts using words I like instead of words he likes. But the reason I'm sticking with it is because this is so much more fundamental than those kinds of ideas. Like, I used to be in the business, so I was my field before this was NLP. I don't know if you come across NLP, but neuro-linguistic programming it's called. It's literally reconditioning the brain. Okay. Right? And we did all sorts of cool stuff. We did work with phobias, we did work with panic attacks, we do...
hence the TV show. Got it.
Yeah, we do all that kind of stuff. And the problem with it was there was no truth in it. It was, and it didn't pretend to be. It said, the field was called the study of the structure of subjective experience. So when somebody would say, well, it's true, my little NLP brain would go, poor fool, right? Yeah. It looks true from where you're standing, right? From where you're standing, the 7 blind men and the elephant, right? It's an old, I think it's a Rudyard Kipling poem or somebody like that. But so there's 7 blind men, and they come across an elephant, and one of them at the tail goes, "Oh, an elephant is very like a long worm." And the one that's by the trunk goes, no, it's like a big boa constrictor. And the one by the legs goes, no, an elephant is like a tree. Yeah. Right? And so that was the basis of NLP, was depending on where you stood on the elephant, you saw a different reality.
Okay, got it.
I did not get for 18 years that in order for that story to make any sense, there has to be an actual elephant. And I was so involved in how you described the elephant from your point of view that I lost sight of the elephant itself. We had an expression, the map is not the territory. Well, I was a map maker in my mind. But I forgot that a map without a territory is useless. Yeah. So I was in the business of finding the most useful lie, the most useful concept, the most useful way of thinking about it, the most useful terminology. Right? It's not a problem, it's a challenge. It's not a challenge, it's an opportunity. Right?
Yeah, those are the cool words.
Right?
Right.
Absolutely. Didn't do shit, but it sort of did. Like, it felt like it did.
Yeah.
But when I saw my first spiritual fact, right? When I saw babies don't need therapy, right? Like, we're born perfect. Yeah. So then our fundamental nature can't be fucked up, right? That's got to be learned. That's got to be conditioned. That's got to be something that sits on top of our health. Well, it changed everything because suddenly there was solid ground. Suddenly there was something in the universe that was not subject to my whims, that was not subject to my thinking. And that took such a load off because I thought it was all my thinking, right? I thought it was all, well, if I see it the right way, it'll work well.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that's a hell of a responsibility. That's not a responsibility, that's a burden, right? The entire state of the universe is on you, right? Well, when I suddenly saw, no, there are tons of things in the universe that are nothing to do with me, like gravity, like truth is true. If you don't see it, doesn't make, bullets don't kill, well.
To one hit you, yeah.
Right.
To one hit you in the right spot.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
Right, so, and for me, it's been that solid ground where I now find my security, where my confidence comes from. It's like, that's not going to change. I can forget it, I can get confused, I can get caught up, I can have bad days, all of that still happens. But my essential nature is not up for grabs, right? I can't fuck myself up in that way, not at that level, right? At the soul level, bring it on, right? Even if my head is screaming, oh, my soul can take it, right?
That's that's huge because at some point in just about every journey or everything, I've gotten to a point where what the coach has told me and what I was facing weren't the same.
Yeah.
And to have a coach, screaming, run this play, and you're looking at the defense and you're like, but that won't work. And it's this conflict and you have to decide what you're going to do.
Yeah.
That has always been my case. I've studied under spiritual leaders or whatever you want to call it, but it always comes to a point where I was looking for something solid to stand on. A lot of things taught were very abstract.
Yeah.
And I'm a tactile learner. You could sit me in a room and let it play on a PowerPoint for 8 hours, or you could take me outside and spend 10 minutes with me.
Yeah.
10 minutes, I got it.
Yeah.
8 hours is, bro, I'm checked out.
Yeah.
And so this was one that was like, okay, this is solid for me. I understand this for me.
Yeah.
This doesn't have anything to do with my coach. This doesn't have anything to do with my spiritual mentors. That's why I'm just like so fascinated by it. Like, you mean to tell me I've been fucking looking for something for 40 years and it's been there for 40 years? You know how dumb that feels?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, actually, try 43, right?
Just looking for something that's been there. Just think about it. Your keys hooked to your, you tie the house up and your keys are right there on your hip. They're attached to your pocket. You've destroyed the house. You've broken tea mugs. You know what I mean? You've done everything and they've been here the whole time. Late for work, late for dinner, late the whole time. You feel dumb. Or at least I do.
Oh, no, me too.
Oh, okay.
No, seriously. Like, seriously. Dude, I fucking wrote books about it and people came to hear me talk. You think you felt dumb?
Okay, you got me. I haven't wrote a book about it, you're right.
But here's the cool thing about once you see it. There was no way I could go back. My pride's not worth that.
Yeah.
Right? It's like I'm not going to lie to anybody on purpose.
True. That is true.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the fact that I didn't see it and now I do. Well, thank God I do, and sorry everyone. I mean, I do, and I do. I mean, like I did. I called people. I was like,
Me too. I did it
sorry.
yesterday.
Can I try again?
I did it yesterday. I tried to touch every one of, whether my kid or stepkid, I tried to touch family members. Just like, hey, I had this shit all wrong. Delete, like insert this new track. It's about this, it was just like, man. But then because it's the truth, I started something, it's like, okay, oh well.
Yeah, well see, and I always say to these guys, and anyone I train, I say, look, we have a secret weapon. We're pointing to the truth.
Yeah.
Right? So no matter how bad we are at it, there's still a chance people are going to see it.
Yeah.
Because it's true. It's really there. The solid ground, what we're all looking for is solid ground, is the high ground, is our home ground, right? And if you spent your entire life looking for your keys out there, and you know they're on your belt, even though you can't see them, right? But you know it. Well, now you got to turn the other way. Now you got to turn inwards. Now you got to look beyond your conditioning. You got to look further back than that. You remember the Wizard of Oz? You're right. You know, and the dog pulls back the curtain, and the guy's there with the cranks and levers. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Right? Well, no, actually, we want to start paying attention to the man behind the curtain. Right? To before all that illusion is created.
Yeah.
Because that's where the world changes from. And our impact on the world isn't through getting better at talking about it, though that won't hurt, right? It isn't through collecting good stories and metaphors, because they'll come naturally when we're looking at it and we're going, how do you describe that camera? Right? Like, okay, literally, like, describe that camera to me.
It's a three-legged monster with a red dot.
It does. Well, now it is. Now I'm scared of it. No, but like when you're looking at it, you can describe it. But if you try and describe something you don't really see, then you need the script. Then you need to know, well, how do I talk about it? Well, I don't know, but if I'm looking at it, I'll figure it out.
But that's how it becomes created, though, because I don't know, I can't see it, so I choose words to try to fit, which messes up the truth.
Which messes up the truth, right? Absolutely. We're trying to describe, not prescribe. We're trying to describe, not create.
Yeah.
There's a time for creating, but sharing truth isn't that time.
Isn't that time, because the truth is what all needs to be shared.
Yeah. And that makes our job simpler. Like, that makes doing that much simpler. I just got to see it better if I'm struggling.
Yeah.
It's not about how do I say it better. Because if I see it better, I'll figure out how to say it to you, and then I'll figure out a different way of saying it to you, and I'll figure out a different way of saying it to the next person.
Yeah.
But if I don't really see it, or like I start to notice, hang on a minute. Like I remember one of my things was I used to be big in integrity. Like, you know, I thought that was the most important skill. And I thought I had like 95%. I thought it was pretty good. But I wanted to, I thought, well, you can't get to 100, but I wanted to aim for 100. And so I hired an integrity coach. And I did all this stuff to try and make sure my word matched my actions and my actions matched my words. And one day, and again, I felt dumb, but that's kind of that's how it works. I went, wow, I am so full of shit. Like, I lie about everything. I stretch the truth everywhere. I make things a little bit better or a little bit worse. Like, I didn't notice it. But actually, conditioning-wise, I suddenly went, oh, I'm at like 13% on a good day, right? And then the goal changed, because I thought, well, from 95, 100 seemed like a goal, but from 13, and I did. I set a new goal, and my goal was to be a little bit less full of shit today than I was yesterday.
Okay.
Right? And I'm kicking ass on that one.
Yeah.
Right? Well, the first time it came to a head, I'm doing my radio show, and this guy calls in, and he's having trouble. I can't remember if he was dating and I used a selling analogy, or he was selling and I used a dating analogy, but he was having trouble calling somebody. And I said all the right things, right? It was cool what I said. Like, it was like, well, that's kind of a funny thing, because you're no worse off after if you don't say anything than if you do. And it was all good stuff.
Checked all the boxes.
Right? He's laughing and I'm thinking, haha. And then it dawned on me, shit, this doesn't help me. I still get scared about stuff like that. I don't call people sometimes, and I stopped, because I decided I wanted to be less full of shit than I was yesterday. And it was radio, so it felt like an hour. I probably stopped for 3 seconds. I've never heard the show back. And I said, hey, can we start again? Because I just realized that everything I just said to you sounds great, but it doesn't work for me. And we looked together, and we looked to, well, what is fear? Like, where's that come from? And even if you feel it, what does that have to do with what you do or don't do?
Yeah.
And we had a real conversation for the first time, and it was amazing. And it impacted him. It impacted me, because now we were looking for truth together, right? I didn't have to know it. I just knew where to look. Like, that's my expertise. I know where not to look, and I know where to look. I don't necessarily know much, but that's actually all I need to know.
Just direction of where to look.
Just the direction. We can take it from there. I can spend the rest of my life knowing that if we look in this direction, we're going to see things, because this is where the truth is.
Yeah.
If we look in that direction, we're going to see things, but they're going to be created. They're going to be of the illusion. They're going to be of the conditioning.
Derived from environment, conditioning, and all of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why if you look in that direction, all the theories, all the philosophies, all the psychologies make a lot of sense,
Yeah.
right? All the typologies. They're true there, but they're not true inside. They're not true before that. They're not the true nature of who we are.
It's so crazy. Because we, in the rabbit hole for PTSD counseling, for some reason the psychiatrist, he spent a lot of time on me and my father. And by this time, my father was probably one of the most important people to me in my life.
Yeah.
But we spent hour sessions talking about him not being there when I was a kid. And I'm just like, but did you hear me say, like, it didn't make sense. Yeah. It didn't make sense. But all his concepts were, we got to sort through this or it's not going to be right. And he would say, you're never going to have that relationship until you deal with this. I was like, but I just told you we're good. Like, I don't know, it was...
Well, you must have been in denial.
Yes, exactly. Yes. He was staying with the curriculum. And again, it was a turnoff. That's why it was so hard yesterday when you asked a question about PTSD, because I didn't want to say it doesn't help. But I do remember going through the years of the counseling and stuff of it when I was like, this is such a crock of shit. To me.
Yeah.
Right now for what I'm, like I didn't need to talk about my father. My issue is I needed to learn how to come back, because I had this, I don't know, most commanders have called it a strength to simply shut down and operate without any regard for overall mission. We have to get from point A to point B. You have to get us there. And it's 13 of us. You figure it out. Oh, I got it. I'll put a sniper there. I'll do this. And nothing else mattered. The problem was I couldn't come back out of that world. Yeah. So when I came home, I'm telling my kids, don't walk there. They could put something on the ground. And my daughter's like, what? Like, what are you? Like, that can explode. Watch that back, And they're like, dude, where are you at? This is Washington, D.C. This is not Iraq. And that was my hard part. Couldn't come back from that. I didn't need to talk about my dad. I didn't need to talk about my mom. And I think if I would have had the truth, and I wouldn't have spent 2 years there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have spent 18 years doing mine. Yeah. Right? I mean, oh well. No, I mean it. Like, that's where I came to. It's like, I mean, if I could go back, I'd do it differently, but I haven't figured out how to, so we're good.
That's next.
Is that actually? Is that going to be the afternoon? So if we came back, we would go there. Yeah.
No, but this is powerful.
I mean, see, I sometimes think the most powerful thing that we can do with another human being is just sit with them in this space, right? In that silence, in that stillness, in whatever this is, in God, in love, in spirit, and just let it soak in, right? Because it seems to be a balm for whatever ails you, right? It seems to... It's, Buddhists call it the ultimate medicine, because it heals whatever's wrong with you, right? It's the unconditioned mind, they call it, right? And that's why, like all the pretty words, and I'm a pretty word merchant, right? Yeah. That's what I do. I love it. But they're empty unless they're filled up with this, right? And so if I want to be good at my job, I need to fill up with this. I need to bathe in this. I need to, as best I can, orient myself towards this. And I don't even know how to, but I know it is a sincere intention. And I know when I have a sincere intention, things have a way of working out.
Working out, yep. Yeah.
And I know I'm off track a couple of ways. I stopped feeling it. Like I'm still saying it, but I'm not feeling it, right? That lets me know, okay, I think this has probably gotten a little conceptual now. It's gotten a little heady, right? I know I'm off track if I'm not seeing anything new, right? I must not be looking where new is if I'm not seeing anything new. If I hear myself trot a story out for the 14th time and nothing new's coming to mind, I'm stuck in that story now. That story's become a concept.
Yeah.
It may have originally been filled with love. It may have been filled with truth, but now it's just a story, right? The impact's not in the story, it's in what, the story's the Trojan horse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just way in.
It's just a way of delivering the good stuff.
Yeah.
And so the way I get good at it is by hanging out in the good stuff as much as I can. So it's a win-win,
Yeah.
right? Worst case, I have a wonderful life.
Yeah.
Best case, I got a wonderful life and I changed the world,
Yeah.
right? But I mean, that's the right way round to my point of view. That is the kindness of this. Like literally, the more you see it, the more you rest in it, the more you let it nourish you, the better you are at sharing it, whether you're trying or not, right? Because I think, and again, you and I just talked about this before we turned the camera on, that I like to distinguish what I'm making up from what's true.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I'm making
Yeah.
this next bit up,
Yeah.
right? I think that what really helped those kids in the grocery store and those moms in the grocery store was your kindness and your presence, not your money and not what you said to them. Right? Because somehow that gets through to something primal in us. That gets through to something before all our ideas. Right? And if that had expressed, sometimes that's going to express in a smile. Sometimes you're not going to know. Right? Often you're not going to know.
Yeah.
Right? I was telling these guys about how one of my biggest business breakthroughs came because of one of my coach's eyebrows. And it sounds stupid, but it's actually true. I was talking about wanting to make $1 million, and I kind of said, but it's stupid because I've had that on my list forever, and it's just grandiose and blah blah blah. And he just raised one eyebrow, like, okay. And in my head, I'm like, he doesn't think this is nuts. Well, shit. Well, what if it isn't nuts? And that was my first year of doing that. And I went back to him and asked him. He has no memory of that because he wasn't trying to coach me.
Yeah.
He lived in a world where that was easy.
Yeah.
So my world looked nutty to him. Well, if I live in a world where we can go through the worst that life has to offer and come out the other side with grace and with love and with wholeness and with humanity, that's the source of our impact. It doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter if we never say anything, right? And if we say all the right things, but people can see in our eyes we're dying inside.
Yeah, we're dying.
You can get away with it for a while, you really can.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to get other broken people who like the idea that they don't have to feel that way.
Yeah.
You're not going to touch the people you really want to touch, which are the ones who really are ready to be moved.
Yeah. That was that. I can't remember. I think it was me and you who were talking about it. I know I talked about it with the ladies at lunch yesterday, but this is what I love about the venue. Because as world-renowned as you are with the books and the things like that, you cut out all the gold trimming and all the this. I just need a room with a camera
and this information. It's not concerned about what it looks like, if it's, velvet balances, or if it's gold trimming, or if the seats are leather. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And if you're concerned about those trimmings and not the information or not the truth, then this is not where you need to be anyway.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to cut out now.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people have hung on to, remember I told you there was this performer.
Yeah.
A lot of people have tied into this performer, but this guy back here who watched this performance, it's now starting to do this, to where they're becoming one and the same.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to that point of not wanting people who need the bells and the whistles and the nice cars and the this and all that to go, because that's not really what it's about. It's super crazy, but in my hardest times, I felt the most peace.
Now, what do you make of that?
In my hardest times, I was really trusting myself.
Sounds true to me.
That's it. I was fucking trusting myself. Because people had gave up.
Yeah.
Everything had said, I was fucking trusting myself.
But like
There you go with that shit again, Michael. You got that shit again. Yes. I was trusting myself. Or at least not fighting it. At least letting
not
it stick,
fighting it.
as you said, balance out, and I rose.
Yeah. And the good news is you don't have to wait for more hard times to trust yourself.
Good. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. But I mean, it's important to know that, right? Because otherwise, you go, okay, let me seek out some more hard times because I want to be there again, right? I mean, it is. I mean, people do that. Like, they don't maybe think it through that consciously, but they're this is where I felt most alive. So let me do that thing where I'm being shot at again, so I can feel that feeling again.
No, that's true. People deploy. The people volunteer to deploy.
Absolutely.
Because they're so used to it. It's more normal for them to be shot at than it is not to be shot at.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a true statement. If you knew, which you do, right? Oh shit, this is just what it feels like to trust myself. Well, I can do that anytime. I can start doing that right now.
Yeah.
And there'll be a learning curve. Like, I will forget. I'll fall back into my conditioning. It'll start feeling conceptual. It'll start feeling like, oh, that's like this idea. And then I'll fall back out of it. I'll fall back to higher ground. I'll fall back to the silence.
Yeah.
And I'll see it even deeper. And when I see the team lined up and I'm going to go with my play call. Like, on my learning curve with that, because I probably in some areas of my life, business being the big one, have trusted this inner wisdom less than anyone I know. Like, I've read all the books. I have followed all the formulas. And it never felt right. But surely they know because they're doing it.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And I got to a point where I saw it enough that I knew that was fucked up. But I didn't really see what it was I was supposed to trust. And I actually put a note, like a sticky note, on my sun visor that said, go with your knowing even if you're wrong. Now, I'm not saying that's what you should do, but for me, I saw it enough to know I needed to trust it even though I didn't trust it. Right? At some level, I knew that. And so, because I used to talk myself out about it, because like, well, what if I'm wrong? And then I just went, well, then you're wrong, but at least you're looking to the right place for the data. At least you're looking to the right place for your information. At least it's your mistake.
Yeah.
And over time, I've learned to trust. I mean, it's funny. I don't think of it personally, and that's not. That language is fine to my mind, like trusting myself. I trust this in me, like this wisdom in me, this knowing in me. I was talking to these guys yesterday, and I was saying, like, they're saying, well, did you plan this? Like, no, I literally don't want to know anything. I don't want to plan anything. I want to sit down with another human being and see what happens, because I've got unbelievable amounts of faith in this. But there are still areas where I don't quite, right? And there are still areas where I think I do, and then I fall down another flight of stairs, and I'm like, oh, I'm at 11%. I thought I was at 95%. The pie just got bigger, right? And that there used to be. You ever do climbing, like mountain climbing, or?
I did some rock climbing for a while.
Yeah.
Then I realized I was scared of heights.
Fair enough. I worked with a guy who used to teach rock climbing, and he had a basic course and an advanced course. And the theoretical test for the advanced course, what he told everybody the test was to climb to the top of a particular climb. And what he didn't tell them is that there was a false summit. So what you saw as the top from the ground, when you got there, there's a whole other part of the mountain.
Okay.
Well, he was hanging out. He also didn't tell them. He was hanging out there behind a rock.
To see what happens.
He had told them entrance to the advanced course was, could they get to the top? Entrance to the advanced course was what they did when they saw that they hadn't already got to the top. And the ones who were effing and blinding and pissed off and didn't want to play anymore, whether they went up or not, he didn't want to work with. The ones who were like, huh? Cool.
Yeah.
They were the ones he wanted to work with. That's the learning curve.
Yeah.
Right? No way you get through this without fucking it up. Right? But if that's a problem, you're not going to get through much.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah. And I know it. I mean, I know it's so crazy. I've never wrote a speech. I've never wrote a speech. Just give me the topic, and I get up, and I'm just trusting what's in there on this topic. You know, now I obviously read on
Sure,
the topic, so
yeah.
I stay within a certain lane, but I've been told to go against that by speaking coaches and coaches abroad. You always have to write it down verbatim, and I follow people who wrote their speeches verbatim, and it seemed archaic to me. And so I mean, I understand that part. Like, I never want to write because I never want to know what's going to be the end result.
See, and that same thing that lets you get up and speak,
It's the same.
it's the same thing.
Yeah. So why does it more comforting in that environment and not the other one?
Because for whatever reason, your conditioning doesn't make that seem
Okay.
dangerous. Right? Like, I mean, it's random. I mean, it's arbitrary. Like, somebody else will be absolutely fine in a boardroom and terrified in a bar, right? Somebody else will be absolutely fine in Fallujah and terrified in Santa Monica, right? It's like, and the reverse. Like, it is so, our conditioning is so arbitrary, how we get it in our heads. And when it's really different to other people, we can kind of tell that, but when they have similar, then we start thinking, oh, no, this must be right, because they think that too.
Yeah.
They're scared there too.
You always need somebody
Everyone's scared of
thinking
public
too.
speaking, so
Exactly.
okay, that's normal.
Exactly.
Well, I used to genuinely, like, this tells you more about how fucked up I am, right? I used to go sleep on stages. Like, the place where I could sleep best as a teenager was on stage in a theater. And I would sneak in, I'd break into the theater on campus where I went to high school.
Thought that was the police coming to get you once you said break.
Because the statute of limitations on that has to have run out. You know? But because there was for me, that was my happy place, right? Other people would
Be terrified. Yeah.
Now, that was random. Like, I was scared of my own shadow, but I was totally comfortable up
Being in
on
front,
stage.
yeah.
That was arbitrary. It wasn't until I started connecting the dots and going, holy shit, the same thing is
That puts
always
me there to
present.
put through.
But here I trust it, here I don't. When I'm really low, I trust it. When all the shit's out and I have to, I trust it. When I think I can do it, I don't trust it. It's arbitrary. It's no less trustworthy anywhere, right? Gravity doesn't work better in some environments than others, right? The ground is no less solid anywhere when the ground is truth,
Whether you want it to be or not. Yeah.
whether you want it to be or not.
makes a whole lot of sense, man. It puts a whole lot of things into sense as well. It's like, yeah.
And I love that you've seen to put things on pause. Like, to me, that's like unbelievable sanity and clarity of mind and wisdom. You're not canceling everything. You're not, but no, you kind of get it enough to go, okay, we got to give this a little time to sort itself out, and then we'll know what to do. That's just sane, right? To me, that's like the ultimate of clarity. It's like, cool. Right? Of course, that makes total sense if you're seeing what you're seeing, right? And as you see more, different things will make sense, and you'll do that, and you don't have to worry about it, right? Like, for some reason, I think we may have talked about this at that dinner party, but like one of my favorite things, so my kids, my older kids kind of got this as teenagers because I was getting it, and we would talk all the time, and one time Oliver was, he'd been talking about some big party, and I said to him the morning of the party, "Are you going to that party tonight?" He said, "I decided not to." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Well, I've kind of been seeing these two girls, and they're both going to be at the party, and they don't know about each other, so, and I'm like, all right." And then later that night, he's getting ready to go out, and I said, "Oh, where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to that party." I said, "I thought you weren't going to go because of the girls." And he said, "Oh, I figure future Oliver will figure that out."
That's dope.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Like, he trusts that in him, that it'll take care of it when it's relevant.
Whether something happens at the party or not, I could go and have a great time. I can go and have a bad time, but that's for future Oliver to worry about. It's
And like
good.
that, to me, it's not like you could teach that as a clever strategy. So don't worry about it because future Rob will take care of it. But no, it's just he saw the truth of it. It's like, not my problem, right? The guy whose problem it is can probably handle it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like we're really well made to handle what's actually on our plate. We're not designed to handle what we make up as a future problem. And then we think because we're struggling to figure out how we would handle it, that's meaningful about us personally or about the situation. It's not. It's meaningful about we're not made to solve imaginary problems.
Yeah, that's good. We do that too, don't we? We'll make it our problems. And we'll cloud and judge, but yeah. Man. This is mind-boggling, like. And it just starts just making it, I don't know, it changes the color. And I remember getting things, I remember getting through small things and I'm saying the color's changing, but it's like, it's just like looking at something like, this is so different. But this is what I want. This is what I want. I want to genuinely be able to trust that wisdom. Especially if I want to help, it doesn't make sense not to want to trust the wisdom. Yeah.
And I honestly think, like, this is the bit where you just keep seeing, you put it to the test, you see. And then if something's, because what you'll find is every time you go to the well, water comes up.
Yeah, this is a well, yeah.
Right. And then it gets easier. So I talk about it as educated faith. Right? Like it's at the beginning you got to kind of will yourself to trust it a little sometimes, but as you see it more and more, not just in real time, but you start to go back through your life, like it was happening to you anyways, and you're seeing all these times, oh God, yeah, it was there.
It was there.
It was there. It was there. Suddenly you go, oh, actually, every time I've trusted this, it's been there. and then it gets easier to trust, right? Because it's always there. That's why we don't worry about whether the sun's going to come up. We don't worry that it's really gone, right?
Because we know it's going to come.
Because we know we've been around the block.
Yeah. Yeah. Educated faith. Let me just see what it does in the environment.
Yeah. And no. There's a, you ever heard of David Mamet? He's a playwright. He did movies like The Untouchables. He wrote.
Oh, okay.
And he wrote Glenn Ross. He wrote a lot of plays with the word "fuck" in them.
Okay.
He was big, like literally. He's turned "fuck" into a sort of a landscape painting.
Language.
But he also happens to be a very religious guy, and he wrote the foreword to a book on the Bible. And in the foreword, the only bit, to be honest, I never read the book. I just read the foreword because I wanted to see what he had to say. And in the foreword, he said, when you are talking about, and he didn't use the word spiritual fact, but I don't remember what he said, but that's what he was talking about. When you're talking about spiritual facts, and something doesn't fit with your experience, you have one of two choices. You either decide the spiritual facts are wrong, and you're right, or you've got to keep looking till you see how it fits. And that always stuck with me, because I realized that there's a feeling to truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I know it, even if I don't get it, even if I don't understand it, I know it.
Yeah.
And that whenever that is there for me, all right, so if something in my experience doesn't fit, I'm going to stay with it till I see how it does fit. Because there's no way the universe is wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Like at that level, at the fundamental principle level, like this, right? That just is. And then what happens is exactly what's happening for you, right? You're not sitting there actively trying to go through and make the connections. Mm-hmm. The connections are just becoming apparent.
Yeah.
See, that's why there's nothing to do with this. Right? Because it happens anyways in the light of truth.
No matter what.
Yeah.
And doing something would probably even mess it up. It's kind of like the alchemist says that the truth will endure.
The truth will endure, the truth will set you free.
Yeah. It's the truth is the truth is the truth. And that now new truth is I can think above conditioning.
And it's not new truth. It's new for you to see it.
New for me to see it. Yes,
but
that's
like
what I mean.
it's eternal truth.
It's been there
That's the whole
forever.
point.
Yes.
And that's just such a different basis than most of us try to live our life from. We try to live our life from temporary truth, from good ideas, from concept, and it makes sense. We try and live it from the best 10 commandments we can find.
Yeah, true.
Right? But that's not where our bread is buttered.
Yeah. It's very good. It's very good.
So I don't have like a profound ending, right? Like I don't have okay. And at this point,
This is where the music comes in.
And the music comes in. Well, thank you. That's all we have time for, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up next week on the show, so if you've got any other questions right now, you can ask them. But you got my number, right? I'm not going anywhere. Well, I'm going everywhere, but you know what I mean. And please, check in. Keep checking in. Let's keep talking.
Oh, you thought that was not going to be the case?
I knew that was going to be the case. I was just giving you permission. I'm just letting you know that when you do, I might call you back.
No, you were stuck with the kid for a while. Y'all too? Don't be that. No, thank you, man.
All right, should we go talk to them?
Let's go talk.
Thank you.